6. And if there's anything we do, we start on time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Indie Games Exposé. I'm your host, Lawrence Sontag, aka Sirlar. You might have seen me on some internet videos a while ago. Now I'm doing my own thing, and part of that means I get to present a lot of cool indie games to all you guys. I'm really excited about this. So this actually, Steven at Nightdive approached me about this a while ago, since everyone kind of lost out on, promo opportunities because GDC sort of fell apart. He's like, hey, let's put something together. Maybe we can get a lot of these people out in front of people, give them some promo opportunities they may have lost, since, being an indie dev is hard. And once you lose out on things like hotel reservations and airline, that stacks up. So that's what we're here to do today. Look at a bunch of cool indie games, kind of support the scene, and obviously there's going to be some Nightdive stuff at the beginning. We got a lot of other cool things. I saw you guys in chat already talking about a lot of the games, man. You guys are up to date. So there's a lot of cool stuff here. It was really fun kind of digging through all the games and all the trailers and stuff to see what we've got. So yeah, I have hair and I'm not in a cult. That's right. I'm not John Travolta, not yet. Anyway, I'll have to wait a couple of years until I can live up to that. But first up, yeah, we got Nightdive naturally because they're kind of the ones hosting this whole thing. We got them up first to talk about some of the games they have coming out. Some of them are pretty front of mind. Doom 64 just launched. So that's exciting. One of the black sheep that's finally up here, but yeah, I guess they'll be in here shortly, and then we'll be able to chat about what they've got. Until then, oh yeah, a lot of people excited about Gloomwood. Yeah, a lot of people excited about that. That's coming up too. I just saw some of the footage from that. I actually didn't know too much about it before looking at that footage, but man, I can see why people might be excited about it. And it looks like they're here now. Hello, Steve. Hi. How you guys doing today? I imagine you're probably very stress-free after putting all this together.
It's going to be amazing. I'm just so happy that everybody is here. And yeah, let's get started.
Cool. So first up, you've got something to say about System Shock Enhanced Edition?
Yeah, we just really briefly, we have an updated patch coming out relatively soon to support the physical release that we worked on with Limited Run, who are also here tonight.
Okay, cool. So what's the big news you got, or is there any? Sorry, did I miss it there? I think I may have missed it.
No, it's just some bug fixes. Actually, it's nothing too crazy. Just some support that we've been meaning to put back into the game. But it's still the same Kex-powered source port that's available on Steam right now. Okay, cool. Yeah, still been waiting to play through that game. I'm kind of losing some cred by not having finished the original System Shock. I went back and tried to play the original, and it was, it hasn't aged too well. So I'm excited the enhanced edition is there. That it's quite a bit more playable. Yep, and of course the remake is coming out soon. Let's just say soon, and that should ease a lot of the issues that are still kind of there with the original. Okay, so classic soon TM. Yeah.
Okay.
When it's done.
Okay, gotcha. And then I guess next up, congratulations on launching Doom 64. The remaster of that hit with the launch of Doom Eternal. So congratulations, that's out today, huh?
Yep, that came out today along with like you said, the launch of Doom Eternal. The team worked really, really hard on this. It's actually our first PS4 port as well. So this game came out simultaneously on PC, Switch, Xbox, PS4, and yeah, we could not be happier again with just the feedback that we're getting. Everybody's enjoying it. I kind of was hoping that it would come out a little bit before Doom Eternal, so everybody can kind of play this one first. But I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, I guess by and large, people are probably going to be checking out Eternal first. But I don't know. This one's really interesting, mostly because I don't know. It's like a weird half step between like Doom 2 and Doom 3 because it's still a little more atmospheric and slow, but it's got some weird ass map design. Stuff where you have to like stand on a box and shoot a vent to make a door open halfway across the level. They don't really make shooters like that anymore.
It's definitely more puzzle heavy.
Yeah.
And yeah, the soundtrack is such a departure from 1 and 2, and it kind of fits right in the middle of 2 and 3. It's gloomy, it's dark, it's scary.
Yeah, I remember it being excessively dark. Did you guys brighten it up at all in the remaster? Because the footage I'm seeing in the trailer looks far more visible than I remember the game actually being on a crappy old CRT monitor or a TV.
It was slightly, yeah.
Okay.
Not too much, just enough.
Yeah. That looks like you did a great job. I'm excited to go back and play it again.
Our Kex team is just so amazing. I'm so proud of all the projects they managed to get done and do, and like their quality.
Yeah, it's pretty off the charts. It's so fast too. I don't know how you guys keep flipping these games so quickly. Speaking of, next up we've got some news about Shadow Man Remastered. What is that all about?
Shadow Man Remastered is a Kex engine port of Shadow Man. So we actually got access to the PlayStation source code, and we're kind of rebuilding this one from the ground up in a very similar vein to what we did with the Turok games. So it falls right in kind of that lineage, having been developed by Acclaim, debuting around the same time on the same platforms like Nintendo 64, and yeah, this one is just it's a fan favorite of mine, and yeah, this one we got a lot of requests for, specifically a Switch version, so that's what we're gonna do.
Oh damn, okay. Yeah, I remember trying to get into. I remember this game being part of that whole sort of super edgy kind of thing in the late '90s. I remember it fondly, but I don't remember much else about it what would you say is sort of the elevator pitch for Shadow Man?
Well, it's based on the Valiant comic book that came out in that edgy 1990s. And the idea is essentially you're, I forget the guy's name, it's Michael. He is bestowed voodoo powers, and he basically has to travel to what's called Deadside. And yeah, it's a horror game. It's dark, it's spooky. If you're into that type of thing, you're gonna love it.
Okay. And do you have like a release window? Did you mention that?
We don't have a release window just yet. It's in development, but that's pretty much all I can say. All
right, cool. Another soon. And then this next game, boy, this one's near and dear to my heart. The old Westwood point-and-click Blade Runner game. It's every so often I'll come back and think about Blade Runner and how amazing it was, and how there hasn't really been another game like it. So what's the news you have about Blade Runner Enhanced Edition?
So we're reverse engineering the code because the original code was lost when Westwood was acquired by Electronic Arts. I think in the early 2000s, and there's just a lot that we're going to do to increase the fidelity wherever possible. It's actually kind of a technical marvel how Westwood managed to fit this thing on 4 discs and get it to play on a 1998 era's computer. And we're kind of discovering that and how they put that together. So yeah, hopefully when you have this up on your 4K television, it'll still look the way it did, the way you remember it, but there'll be some noticeable improvements.
I'm really curious about that, because as I remember, a lot of the game was like pre-rendered video and like animated sprites and stuff like that. So how can you even up-res that? If it's just like a blurry 320 by 240 animated GIF or whatever, is it like neural networks to up-res that stuff?
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what we're using. We're using utilizing the same system that's being utilized on the Command & Conquer remaster, because same studio, Westwood, they filmed a lot of their FMVs using real actors and computer-generated backgrounds, and there's just not good source material left to create high-resolution versions of. So yeah, it's AI upsampling, and then with the character models, it's actually 3D, but it's polygons that have been sliced into. I don't know how to describe it. It's just really bizarre, but we're kind of just putting it all back together.
Yeah, people in chat are saying they're voxels, or at least the characters are voxels, which kind of makes sense in my mind's eye. They do kind of look that way, which theoretically I guess would probably be easier assets to up-res, but
yeah. So I guess what I should clarify is that when we're extracting them, we're converting them to poly.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you guys have a lot. You guys have some dark voodoo magic on. You got some Shadow Man magic on your side if you can do that. Damn.
Yeah, and we're essentially creating tools specifically for this game and for these model formats. And I can't wait to show off the difference that it's going to make.
I'm really excited. I played that game before I think I had the proper intellect to understand what it was doing, because my understanding is the game actually proceeds in real time while you're playing it, so events will occur whether or not you're there to see them happen. And I don't think I quite grasped that, because I played through it the first time and just made a horrific series of mistakes and then got a really bad ending, and I was like, well, that was a weird game. Apparently they let you pretty much do whatever you want and sidetrack the story however you want by accidentally either accusing the wrong person of being a replicant or not following leads fast enough and just losing out on trails of information. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, definitely ahead of its time in terms of point-and-click adventure games specifically. There's just a ton of replayability because you can, I think, take your gun out at any time and just kill anyone you want. So, yeah.
I did that, I think, because I thought the game was telling me this dude was a replicant. And he was like running from me, and I was like, well, if he's running, I gotta put him down, right? And then, yeah, you retire a human, and that doesn't go so well in Blade Runner universe. So yeah, and also just like Westwood in general has an incredible legacy of games, and it's really cool that now it seems like a lot of companies are able to sort of revive that stuff and keep that legacy alive.
Yeah, just very exciting. It's been a game that I've been trying to bring back for over 7 years, and it's finally happening.
Cool. Well, I'm very glad you picked it. You picked a great one. And now coming up, I think we have a trailer, so I guess we'll just run that. Cool. Sin, what a weird game. I mean, so I have some history with that. We did a weird playthrough of it years ago, back when I was at Machinima. But I remember playing this back in the '90s, man. It was like, it had that Duke Nukem 3D sort of vibe where they tried to make as many things in the world as interactive as possible. It's a fun playthrough.
It's one of those really great games that unfortunately was completely overshadowed by Half-Life because it came out at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to imagine in an alternate universe where, Half-Life didn't come out, Sin would be, the franchise that, kind of redefined or at least pushed, first-person shooters into a new direction or sort of new direction anyways.
Maybe it is hard to imagine, but I guess that's possible. It's tough for me to imagine a game about a protagonist who has dreadlocks and like skin-tight vinyl suit, really revolutionizing games. But I guess anything can happen. But you're right, though. It did have that sort of that vibe of just having a lot of world interactivity and just a bunch of like small things that made the game like have a bunch of weird character, but didn't really. I don't know. It's worth playing, man. Sin is a weird game. But I really enjoy it, and I remember it pretty fondly.
Yeah, the cool thing about this particular release is we know that a lot of people owned Sin Emergence episodes on Steam and GOG. Well, they owned Sin Gold on GOG before we acquired the rights to this. But we decided that the first thing we wanted to do was go into the original game, get it running on modern resolutions, fix some bugs, include the Wages of Sin expansion pack, and just kind of give it away for free to everybody who already owned the game as like a free update to kind of get them ready for an eventual Sin remaster that we're planning with 3D ROMs.
Cool. What does the remaster entail? Are you gonna just like up-res everything, get some higher polys in there? Are we gonna lose the really weird wobbly vertex animation from the late 90s?
Unfortunately, we're gonna lose that. Yeah, but it's being moved over to the Kex engine, and yes, this will be one of the first Nightdive titles that we'll be rebuilding a lot of the original assets to kind of modern 3D standards, while still retaining the aesthetic, the vertex lighting, just the beauty that the Quake 2 engine is known for.
It's definitely got every id Tech kind of has its own emotional vibe about it, and yeah, Sin is really slathered in Quake 2 aesthetic. Thinking about it though, I remember when I played it, I was like 13 or something, and I noticed that like the character models, their clothes would tear when you shot them, so you get to up-res that. That's very exciting. It kind of blew my 12-year-old mind.
Yeah, again, I think that if Half-Life hadn't come out, we probably wouldn't be working on Sin. Let's put it that way.
We'd be getting a VR Sin game finally after a 20-year break or whatever. Hey, we still might. Who knows?
Sin Alexis. Yeah,
it's on you guys now. Yeah, if Sin Gold sells 1 million units, I'm going to speak on your behalf and say that Nightdive promises to release Sin 2, which I guess was kind of whatever. That's on you now. That's not my problem.
Okay.
So have fun working on that. Okay. Are there you guys have any other general information you want to share about what's going on at Nightdive, or?
No, that's pretty much it. We had just a really busy week.
Yeah.
Again, Doom 64, Sin's out, Shadow Man's coming soon, Blade Runner's coming soon. We just sent out a new update to our Kickstarter backers for System Shock. It's coming along great. I hope you guys really enjoy the progress that we're sharing. And thanks, Lawrence.
Right on. Steven, Carly, thank you guys so much. Very excited about what you guys have done. Congratulations again on Doom 64 launching. That's a huge deal. And I can't wait to get into that game, play through it again.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, very excited.
Yeah. Have a good evening, you guys.
All right, you too.
Okay, moving on. This is kind of interesting. So 3D Realms is up, and I guess they wanted to contribute, and to do that, they filmed a kind of extended behind-the-scenes tour of their offices. Except, with Corona and all, there's no one in their offices. So it's kind of a long sort of walkthrough museum of late '90s PC games. It's also pretty long. So if you need to get a snack or use the restroom, now might be the time. But let's all settle in and just get this extended look at 3D Realms offices.
Today we are going to the office at 3D Realms Slipgate, even though everyone is sent home due to the coronavirus. So, but yeah, we promised the nice guys from Nightdive to actually make a little tour and maybe show off some cool stuff that we're working on. Maybe some prototypes of some old games. But yeah, it's gonna be a ton of fun. No handle touching.
Launch forward.
Hello! Hey everyone, welcome to Slipgate in 3D Realms. This is our home, and today I'm gonna show you some cool stuff. Unfortunately, I can't really show you any of our unannounced in-progress games, which we haven't already announced and shown to you guys. You're gonna have to wait a bit later this year and we'll show you some more of that stuff. However, I can show you some of the super cool prototypes and previously cancelled projects that we have been working on at some point at 3D Realms and Slipgate. Some of these we also can't show you quite, but I've picked out a few of them that we can show you, so enjoy the tour. Alright, welcome to 3D Realms and Slipgate Ironworks, located here in Aalborg. So this is our fancy entrance. It's this place is not too big, and we're actually mostly a virtual studio these days. We are 52 people working on a range of different projects, and here in Aalborg we are sitting between 7 to 10 at any given time. So let me show you around a bit. Oh, whoops, we can't really show that. The forbidden name. Alright, so this is a little entrance here. A lot of really cool old school things. Here's like a little thing from Bobbin. These are actually the original drawings and illustrations for a range of different Apogee 3D Realms games. Here's some from Monster Bash. Here's one from Biomenace. Blakestone, Wacky Wheels, Mystic Towers, and so on. As you can see today, it's completely empty. We unfortunately had to send everyone home during this coronavirus outbreak. So we're just two at the office today. We are Anders, who is having his lunch right now, and then it's me, and we're making it work. So this is the studio. We have like a little lounge area here where we can play some games. Hopefully we can play Doom Eternal very soon. And over here we have one of our lead level designer, Jacob, who this is where he usually sits. And over here we have Mr. Greg. Greg is our CTO at Slipgate and 3D Realms. He's also our lead programmer. And this is another cool little artifact from the good old days. All the different Christmas cards at 3D Realms were also framed, and we have those hanging around the studio at different places as well. I'll go around and show you guys some of the cool stuff we have in these cabinets as well. But over here we have Kirill. Kirill took his computer home, so he's working from home as well. Anas, who is actually working from here right now. And over here we have Daniel, and Daniel is also working from home these days. And then over here we have Alexandra, our marketing manager, also working from home these days. The same with Mike. Mike is also working from home, the CEO of 3D Realms. Everyone is basically working from home. And this is where I sit, my spot. So let me show you some of the cool stuff we have around here. And I know what you guys probably want to see the most is some cool game collections. We have a range of different cabinets around the office with mostly my private collection of games. They just fit here and not in our tiny house, so it fits within the theme of the studio. A few different things here. We have a sigil box here. We have some Doom things. This thing is really cool. This is like a stone plaque with Doom guy on it, and a few more different games. Here's Aliens of Gold, Blakestone. We have Wacky Wheels. We have Planet Strike, Alien Carnage. We also have an arcade machine, which Jacob actually built for the office. Super cool. Tons of different games to play. And over here we have some more stuff. I think most of you guys have seen this one before. It's super neat. We also have Duke Nukem here. Of course, here's the Founders Edition of Iron Fury. We have the regular edition here. And here we have Rad Rogers and all the different versions of that game. Here's some Mystic Towers, Realms of Chaos, and some Commander Keen stuff. A few different Duke Nukem things, Balls of Steel, which included Duke Nukem, and 0 Hour here. We have some other games down here. So I primarily collect, or try as much as possible to collect sealed copies of games. So most of what's shown here, at least in the fancy cabinets, are the unopened, sealed in-box type games. Over here we have more games. But first of all, our logos here on the wall. We also have some props that we've shown at different events. Here's the Iron Fury crossbow. These were made by Harrison Volpin, one of our really good friends. He's been doing props for us for many years now. Actually, the first one he did was this one. This is Bombshell's arm. You know, after Iron Fury, at some point later in the storyline, she gets this robotic arm, which she calls Amiga, and this is it. Also have a few squishy bowling bombs here, and then of course more games. So yeah, range of classics here: Wolfenstein 3D, Hexen, Heretic, Ultimate Doom. Mostly I try and collect the games that I personally have some kind of nostalgic memory of. Mostly that's Command & Conquer, Quake, Doom, Heretic, Hexen, Wolfenstein, these types of games. Yeah, a bunch of different ones here. Of course, Daikatana, you gotta love Daikatana. Of course, the Half-Life series is also a favorite here at the office. Here's some more classic games. Sin, of course, different versions of Sin. Huge fan. We worked on a Sin project, as many of you know, some time ago. Same with Heavy Metal is also, everything Ritual. Those guys were very close to 3D Realms back in the day. Many of the founders of Ritual came from 3D Realms. Robert Atkins and Richard Gray, Lovelord, are a few of them. Yeah. And some more neat games here. Some action figures from Heavy Metal as well. Kind of a forgotten classic, I'd say. Heavy Metal is a fantastic game. Here's some more illustrations. Here's actually one from Duke Nukem 2. From Raptor. And yeah, a few more Christmas cards over on the wall here. So yeah, this is where the magic happens. In here we have a small little meeting room. Also with here's some CD plaques. from a few different soundtracks. And yeah, this is where we do most of our meetings with our virtual teams. And going over here, we have a kitchen where Alice is eating his lunch. Let's see what he's having. Looks like he's having some eggs and some rye bread. Very healthy lunch there. And of course, we moved to Rockstar instead of Monster. We can't live up to this. Just temporarily, yeah. So yeah, that's a quick little tour of. Oh yeah, here's the server room. In the server room we have some storage as well, tons of different T-shirts. You know, whenever you guys order something online, this is some of the stuff you get. Yeah, this is pretty much it. Our humble little office. So yeah, let's check out some games and some prototypes. So here we have one of the first prototypes that we did at Slipgate Ironworks, and this is Rad Rogers 2. So Rad Rogers 2 was a prototype and a pitch we did internally for THQ Nordic, and this was still during the last few months of development on the console versions of Rad Rogers. At this point, we thought that, you know, it would be really cool to do a sequel to Red Rogers and kind of build it around the same formula as Super Mario Galaxy, but mix in a little bit of Metroidvania and Gears of War in terms of the shooting mechanics. As you know, there's a lot of shooting besides platforming as well in Rad Rogers. So it had a few RPG elements in there. We built this prototype showcasing just the main game mechanics for THQ, and but unfortunately we decided to go with a different path, and we did another game instead. However, this prototype is always fun to look back at and see, you know, what could have been. So this is a prototype for something called Mother Flagger. So during the development of Ion Fury, we tried to play around with, you know, what would Ion Fury look like, or what would a first-person bombshell game look like if it was based around 1997, 98 era graphics. Usually when making prototypes like this, you borrow a few different assets from different places in order to try and nail the specific style you're going for. So in this example, we've been using some assets from Sim episodes, we've been using some assets from Half-Life 2, and of course, a lot of original assets that we created for this prototype. So we did this prototype, a fully playable prototype, both on the Switch and on PC. And we decided, hey, let's make a prototype that's actually a demo that you can just continuously play. So we made this little survival mode where, you know, you have to kill some enemies, and then, you know, you have a few seconds to collect new ammo, collect new weapons, and then more enemies come and they get tougher and tougher the further you get, and you have to see how long you can survive. So this little prototype was done internally for ourselves to kind of test out a few different technical solutions on how to make a game like this. When we finished this thing, we learned a ton of things about how to potentially make something like this, and then we kind of put it aside. You know, we have another focus right now. We have another few unannounced games that we're actually working on that are going to be announced later this year and released next year. So this is kind of on the back burner for a bit. Maybe someday, who knows, maybe not. But it was at least a really, really cool experiment.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fire in the hole, assholes. Oh my god, the quarterback is toast. Watch this. Oh, I don't think that's covered under warranty.
So this is Techno Cop, and Techno Cop was a game we actually teased a few years ago. I think it was at PAX South and East 2017. As some of you might remember, we had some flyers and some t-shirts there for a game called Techno Cop. At this point, we were actively developing this game. It was a smaller type game, so the base premise of the game was, we wanted to create an extremely fast-paced, high-energy, adrenaline-filled first-person shooter where the tagline was basically, you have 7 seconds to live. And when you start the game, you have a counter, and when it hits 0, it goes from 7 to 0, you die. However, every single time you kill an enemy, you get a few more seconds to live. So you just have to constantly be killing and moving forward in order to survive and going through these levels. And throughout these levels, you'd had a range of different abilities you'd unlock. You could sometime stop time entirely. You could throw these time bubble grenades. You could sometimes shoot through enemies. You could slide. You can wall jump. You can grapple hook, and so on. It's actually some of the same mechanics you see in another game we're working on right now called Ghost Runner. So this was meant to be a smaller game. Something that you could pick up and kind of play through and see if you could beat your own or your friend's top score. Some people who saw it internally compared it a bit to Superhot. So this right here is a smaller little thing, a little test we tried to do. At some point we wanted to see what it would look like if we did a Duke Nukem Time to Kill / Tomb Raider style game in the Iron Fury universe. And so the project was very shortly lived. It was called Bombshell TTK. And it was basically a small test just to see what the graphical fidelity would be like, how we could emulate certain features from the first PlayStation. And so we did a few little assets here and there, and we used some assets from Iron Fury to try and put together this little subway scene and kind of get a feeling for what a game like that would look like. Again, we put this aside afterwards. This is something that we wanted to play around with and experiment with just to see what it could look and feel like, and maybe someday we'll get back to it. But it was a fun little experiment. So we also have some other cool stuff to show you. This is not a prototype. This is actually very, very close to being finished. So this is Iron Fury on the Nintendo Switch. And of course, we have an Xbox and PlayStation version also coming simultaneous with the Switch release. We can't quite tell you when it's going to be out yet, but we are in the final stages of development. And as you can see here, it looks and plays wonderfully. It looks and plays exactly like the PC version. So if you liked Iron Fury on the PC, you're going to absolutely love it on the Switch. We'll have more news about that very soon.
Think again, asshole. One good spill deserves another. It's your blood.
So we also have a few cool prototypes from other games that we weren't necessarily involved with. As you might know, we were heavily involved with Sin a few years ago, and Sin is now in the hands of Nightdive, and we're really happy about that. But we do have some really cool stuff from Sin to show you guys. One of these things is a prototype of Sin 2. So back in the early 2000s, Ritual were working on a Sin 2, a true sequel to Sin using, id Tech from Doom 3. However, later on decided to do a Sin episode for the Steam platform as an episodic game. Unfortunately, only one episode came out. So this is a previously unseen demo video showcase of a prototype of what could have been Sin 2 running in the Doom 3 engine. Enjoy.
Now I have a new desire to make the whole world pay.
She's going to mutate everyone!
Penetrex is brought to you by LifeWorks, a subsidiary of Syntec Corporation.
And that was it. Thank you guys so much for joining me here at this tour at the 3D Realms offices. I'm super happy that you wanted to take a deep dive into some of the canceled prototypes of some of the games we have in development. And I can't wait to show you what we have in store for the rest of this year and next year. Thank you so much for joining and have a great day.
Jeez. That's a lot. There's a lot going on there. Man. So yeah, I'm joined now by 3D Realms VP Fred Schreiber. Thank you for joining us, Fred. Thank you for shooting that whole video. There was a lot going on there, huh?
That was a long day.
Yeah, thank you for that. That was an extremely in-depth look, and so it's fascinating because like I saw as that was going on, every single game that you talked about that you had to cancel, everyone in chat was like, finish that because I want to play it. Is there? So I'm curious, like if there are games that at a prototype level people are interested in, or at least the people in chat. But from your perspective, what's that moment of truth like, where you have to like really decide whether or not you're going to fully double down and try to finish a product, or if you've learned your lessons, you've learned the tech, and it's time to move on and put that knowledge into other products. How do you decide? Is there any kind of rubric you hold yourself to, or is it just always figuring it out as you go?
Well, it always sucks when you have something that you think is really cool and potentially you could go forward with it and take a shot. But also usually you have something that's even better, which ultimately ends up replacing it. So in these different projects come from different times. For instance, when the first one 3 years ago, so 2-3 years ago, we started working on this prototype for instance, Red Rogers 2. And at that point, we thought that was going to be our next thing. But then the whole, Ion Fury, Wrath, and now Ghost Runner, and so on happened. So that was kind of shelved at that point for something we thought was much cooler and much more fun to work with. And that goes to say with most of these projects, usually something else comes along that we first of all can use what we've learned from these things on, but also which is what we think is much more cool to work on. That doesn't mean that we don't want to go back and work on some of these things. It just means that they've kind of taken a backseat for so long now that we don't think that in any near future that we're going to come back and work on any of these, unless some of these people in the chat will riot and ask us. Again, it might not be a good decision to have canceled any of these in the first place, but we thought they were fun doing.
Yeah, I did see one message from Habanero Ranch that just asked, how much shit did 3D Realms cancel?
Oh God, we have here's the thing. When I made, I obviously had to reach out to a lot of different people, publishers and so on, who we work with at different times. So all of this stuff, except for the Sin 2 part, is from the past 3 years or so. I think we had 4 or 5 more different projects which are under NDA. I got the NDA lifted for one of them, which was for THQ with Red Rogers 2. There's a range of others that we can't really show, and I don't think we are ever going to be able to show, simply because the IP that we did those prototypes for, or vertical slices, are owned by major studios, and they most likely don't want something like that to be leaked out.
That's interesting. Yeah, it does kind of speak to this whole layer of game dev where these ideas are agreed upon and worked upon, and then at some point it falls apart, and then there's these prototypes that just get buried. How, in your experience, how common is that there will be an IP agreement that falls apart, and then there's just a game that can never be seen by anybody?
Well, that's very common.
Yeah.
I think almost every developer, I think Dave and New Blood can speak to this, whenever they finish a game, or even often way before they finish a game, they're already working on a range of different types of cool ideas and prototypes. And sometimes some of those end up as full games, sometimes they end up as free games, sometimes they end up as early access games. The better the idea, the more it's tested with a potential audience, and if it's proven to be successful, it might turn into a full product. So all studios does this. We were recently retweeted a lot for having worked at some point on an Aliens game, and that whole discussion came about because Cliff Blasinski and the guys at Boss Key were actually also pitching an Aliens game at around the same time while they were working on Lawbreakers. So yeah, there's always, you know, a couple of different side projects luring in the background, and whenever you're done with your main project, you kind of have to decide, okay, which one do we have to take a bet on?
Okay, that makes sense. Unfortunate, but that's the business, I guess. Well, I guess moving forward to things you do have coming out. I guess first off, you got Kingpin Reload.
It ain't my fault.
That was the wrong slider. There we go. Which it's interesting. My only recollection of Kingpin Reloaded is playing it off of a PC Gamer demo disc, and yeah, and it wasn't the best showing because I remember it was a lot of swears, and that was very salacious for my young mind. But poking around on the Wikipedia article, apparently it was meant to be this whole like fantasy, like almost steampunk sort of setting, and then Cypress Hill kind of made it a little more what it became. I don't know.
Yeah.
So for people that may not be familiar with Kingpin Reloaded, what's your pitch of the game?
Well, so the original was called Kingpin Life of Crime, and it was one of the first Deus Ex type first-person RPG games, done in a full 3D engine. It was kind of a pseudo RPG type game. It was this hub-based world where you could interact with different NPCs and kind of change what happened throughout the story depending on how you interacted with these characters. It was a very, very promising and very, in some ways, revolutionary game. Unfortunately, it had a few things going against it. First of all, it came out right when the Columbine shooting happened. And for an ultra-violent game, one of the most violent games at this point ever made, it was not a good timing. Second of all, the game was, I would say, very janky. They wanted to do a lot of things that the Quake engine were not necessarily meant for. And they managed to get around a lot of things in some kind of hacky ways. So it's one of those games that always had a ton of potential, and it was very ahead of its time. And when we, contacted Interplay and told them, you know what, we would love to kind of fix those things they couldn't do back then, but clearly had the intention of doing with this engine, bring back the game. They were instantly on board. So that's basically Kingpin Reloaded. The steampunk setting is super interesting as well. It's kind of a mix between 1950s, 50s, 60s gangster environment, New York, but it's all based on this steampunk setting. So yeah, and of course Cypress Hill. The music in Kingpin is fantastic. It's a classic soundtrack.
Cool. Yeah, there were so many just incredibly ambitious games, especially on the PC platform in the late 90s before consoles started to really become the standard. So yeah, I guess I never really appreciated Kingpin as being like an action RPG kind of game. Like I said, I just played the demo, and I remember beating somebody to death with a pipe and then there being drugs, and that was extremely edgy. And a lot of games were very edgy at the time, so. Well, cool.
The entire game was basically impersonations of Marcellus Wallace from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, a lot of very angry people screaming a lot of very adult words at each other.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of another kind of punk, you guys have another game called Ghost Runner, a cyberpunk action game, or kind of like a... I don't know, how would you describe it?
Well, Ghost Runner is... with Hotline Miami in some way. It doesn't really look like it in terms of Hotline Miami, but the gameplay formula is basically that. The gameplay loop is you enter these small little areas where it's basically one hit, one kill, and yeah, the second you die, you just respawn instantly. You kind of have to figure out, how do I strategically get through this situation? How do I analyze where are enemies and which walls can I run on and which ledges to grab and which utilities to use? And you only have a sword, and then of course you have a range of abilities you can unlock throughout the game. Slow down time, for instance, and you have a grappling hook you can use at different key points and so on. But yeah, it's an extremely fast-paced, cyborg samurai type game. It's super neat.
Okay, one of those where like you run the same level 20 times over just to shave a half second off, or try and get cool combos going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. Okay, well maybe that'll take the place of Techno Cop in terms of.
See that's kind of the thing I was chatting a bit about this game. Techno Cop was was kind of also canceled internally because of this game. This was a game that the developer approached us with, and they were in need of some development assistance, and we kind of stepped in and said, you know what, this feels and looks a lot like what we are doing internally, just at a much smaller scale. So we would love to join you guys, and then we'll kind of shelve our own little thing.
Okay, great. Are there any projected release windows for Ghost Runner or Kingpin Reloaded?
So Ghost Runner and Kingpin Reloaded right now projected for the end of this year, and we can't really say exactly when yet. That'll probably be announced not too far from now.
Okay, great. Okay, well, before we move on, I am honor bound to pass along the demands of chat, hollering for you to release the 2001 Duke Nukem Forever demo. So I'm sure now that I've asked, you will have to do it, because that's what you've been waiting for, right?
You have to contact the people who own Duke Nukem for any Duke Nukem related questions.
I see. Excellent dodge. All right. Well, Fred, thank you so much for joining us and sharing what's going on at 3D Realms. Thank you for that. Both the look into the past, look into the future. Very cool stuff. You were kind of mentioning before we went live that you and Nightdive kind of both have inherited the legacy of kind of late 90s PC or even just late 90s video game culture of both reviving it and then also creating new games in that. So, yeah, it's really cool that you guys can fill that niche in gaming culture right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and true pleasure to be invited on this. And yeah, as I mentioned to you, it's really awesome working with Nightdive. It kind of feels like they're taking all the classic games many of us grew up with and reviving them for modern systems, and we're making new IP that look like classic games that you remember. And it's kind of like this yin and yang thing. It fits really well together, so we're really excited to be working with them. Great.
Well, thank you so much, Fred. Thank you for sharing everything, and can't wait to play these games.
Thank you for having me on the stream.
Yeah, have a good evening. All right, next up, we are talking with Limited Run. We'll be joined by Josh and Doug from Limited Run to share some announcements about what they've got going on. Looks like they're filing in now. I'm excited for this because I don't know, these games have a place near and dear to my heart. I don't want to spoil it just yet, but I don't know. Maybe it was already announced. First up, we've got Limited Run will actually be doing the physical release of Blade Runner on Switch and PS4. Josh, Doug, are you guys there?
Yeah, I'm here. How's it going?
Cool. Man, this is awesome. Switch is... Granted, every game should be on the Switch, but Blade Runner feels like a really good fit for that. Given that it is point and click, and you can, I assume, use touchscreen for that.
Yeah, so I don't exactly know how Nightdive's going to implement controls on Switch, but I love point and click games. Our first Switch game that we released, Thimbleweed Park, was actually a point and click game, so it's a genre that me and Douglas both really like. So getting to combine that genre with a movie franchise that we love, that Douglas in particular has been a fan of the entire time I've known him. He loves Blade Runner, so I don't know why I'm talking for him. He's here, but yeah, we're extremely excited to be doing this game.
Yeah, no, Blade Runner's a this game in particular was one my stepmom had bought a long time ago, and I remember I wasn't allowed to use the computer, and I risked getting grounded all the time just so I could play this game. So it's really neat that it's like come full circle, and now I get to play it without being grounded.
Well, as far as we know, your stepmom might kick in the door as soon as you start playing it, tell you you're not allowed to do anything. Although I guess in a way, a lot of us are grounded right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not to sound dark, but yeah, that's my dad's first wife. He's moved on.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have to worry.
Great.
I mean, I could still see her, just figuring it out and coming and kicking the door down. I could totally envision that.
She repels in through the windows. So you're hiding under your covers trying to play Blade Runner.
Oh yeah, it sounds terrible. Thanks, dude.
Nightmares.
So do you guys have any like goodies or other things to? I mean, just releasing physical is good enough, but I didn't know if there were any other details about the physical release of Blade Runner you guys would like to share.
We're gonna do a collector's edition for it, but we don't know the contents yet. We're gonna work really close with Steven and the people at Nightdive to make sure that we put together something that's awesome. One of the things that's also really cool about this is the second Westwood remaster that we've actually announced this month, actually, like within the last 2 weeks. I mean, we rolled out Command and Conquer Remastered, the physical release for that with EA, and that was pretty incredible. And to be able to do another physical release of a classic Westwood game is pretty incredible. So this is kind of a surreal couple of weeks here. You know, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, congratulations. I see people in chat noting there's not an Xbox version of the game. Why is that?
So we have had a lot of trouble getting on the platform with Microsoft. We're technically registered for Xbox now, but we don't have access to any of the actual tools to do physical releases for the platform. So we're basically stuck where we were, just doing PS4 and Switch physical releases.
Okay.
So hopefully, you know, at some point maybe we figure out Xbox and we can actually do it. You know, we don't want to ignore that platform because, I mean, that's kind of my main console platform is the Xbox, especially with the Xbox One X getting that, you know, 4K boost is awesome. So I really want to make sure that eventually we can be on that platform. It's just been a nightmare figuring it out.
Yeah, that's one of those things that just seems. Luckily, when you're on my side of things and you just get to throw down money and play a video game, you don't have to worry about all the sort of procedural and maybe even bureaucratic aspects of game releases. So thank you for navigating that, so I don't have to worry about it.
As you can imagine, Microsoft loves bureaucracy.
I mean, most big companies have to bite it off sooner or later, it seems like. Cool. Well, I'll look forward to buying the collector's edition, which I'm sure will have a fully working Voight-Kampff test suitcase thing. With the weird little accordion and like the eyeball, all of that. Thank you guys for putting that together.
It's funny, you know, we actually talked about that in the office, like just doing like a little desk trinket, you know, a little screen with an eyeball just moving around on it, you know?
Like literally everything you just said was brought up, so it's really funny.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a fairly straightforward idea, mostly because I just really want one. So if you guys can make that happen, that'll be great. And it looks like we've got a trailer for a new Is this going to be an announcement, or have you guys announced this before?
So this is an all new announcement that we have not revealed yet. So this is an upcoming physical release from us. We're actually
world premiere.
Pretty excited about this.
World premiere. Okay, cool. Well, let's look at it right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. So Indigo Prophecy / Fahrenheit, the David Cage spectacular that starts off very normal and ends up very not normal. We'll be getting a physical release. Josh and Doug, you guys have a history with this game, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. This is a game Josh first played the demo and introduced me to, and then we both bought it the next day, or the day it came out. And I even played the game doing my summer job, and I called out so I could play it, and then I ended up basically just quitting so I could stay up all night and beat it.
Nice. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, there's a few turns in this game. I guess I won't try to spoil it for people that might be playing it for the first time, but yeah, I was super into it too, and then it got weird. I don't know. So you guys were into it the whole time? Because we were just talking. I got mega stuck at the like military base part of the game. So I don't know that I ever actually finished it. I think I just had no idea what was going on at a certain point and then just kind of walked away from it. So maybe now I can reclaim my my gamer pride.
Well, yeah, I remember at the end I was like, holy crap, this turns into like Matrix meets Dragon Ball, which is basically what the last Matrix movie does as well. And I remember telling Josh it gets crazy, but then story-wise at the end I was like, what just happened? And it took a really long time to process.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could see...
You know, I still finished the game and really enjoyed the game a lot. And I still feel like, it's an extremely unique experience. I mean, I guess it's not as unique anymore now that Quantic Dream has made 3 subsequent games that are very similar, but at the time, like, I hadn't played really anything like this. This was pretty revolutionary for the time, this like interactive, story experience. It was pretty mind-blowing to me. I loved it, and I've been a big fan of Quantic Dream ever since. Like, even the games that other people seem to dislike or hate, like Beyond, I liked Beyond, sue me.
Yeah, I became a big Quantic Dream fan after this, and I bought my PS3 for Heavy Rain.
It's awesome because I have such a fondness for the the rash of FMV games that hit when CD-ROM technology sort of broke, and this is kind of how that spirit was kept alive all the way up to Detroit Become Human and stuff like that. So I feel like Indigo Prophecy is kind of in a awkward half step maybe, but certainly it's like such a narrow and treasured and unique moment in like the legacy of games culture, and especially interactive sort of narrative games, that it's really worth checking out because there's really nothing like it. I think you could probably say that about all of Quantic Dream's work to some degree, but yeah, like you said, the fact that it eventually devolves into Dragon Ball Z Matrix fighting at the end, when it starts with what seems to be a fairly like down-to-earth sort of gritty thriller sort of tone, it's man, the tonal switching will give you whiplash, and that's why I love it so much. So are you guys planning anything?
I definitely agree with that. I am extremely excited for this. I want to see how people who have never played this game before react to it, and I also like, one of the things that I really like about it is, Heavy Rain, Beyond, and Detroit are all on PS4 in physical form, and Indigo Prophecy was not, and we've kind of completed that quadrilogy of David Cage interactive storytelling games in physical form for PS4, so now you can own all 4 of them on disc for PS4, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
But I don't really count Omicron, their original game, as, part of this lineage, because, Omicron was not, an interactive storytelling game,
Yeah, it was...
I always had a really hard time controlling that game. So I did admire a lot of its ambitions.
It was like trying to be 5 different games. It was like an open world RPG. It was a fighting game. It was a driving game. It was a shooting game. It was a David Bowie game. It was everything. We don't need to go off on Omicron. All right, cool guys. Well, that's exciting. That's an amazing announcement. Do you have any details maybe about the actual physical pack-ins or anything like that, or this is the info we have for now?
Yeah, so for now, this is what we have. We have a collector's edition that will be announced at some point next week. The collector's edition will be available alongside the standard edition on April 3rd, and it will be available on our website at limitedrungames.com.
Right on. Well, Josh, Doug, thank you guys so much for joining us and telling us about Indigo Prophecy. Yeah, I am looking forward to a whole new generation of people playing this this bonkers game. So thank you guys for your work, and thank you for spreading the good word about weird Quantic Dream games.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what we're here for.
Cool. All right, have a good evening, guys.
All right, bye.
Take it
Okay,
easy.
yeah, you guys too. Okay, next up, I know a lot of you guys in chat have been waiting for this. I see Gloomwood slamming here and there, which means it's time for good old Dave Oshry from New Bloods to jump in and tell us all about Gloomwood. This is actually, I gotta admit, the game I hadn't really been following until just now, but now that I've watched the footage that got dropped on us, I'm super down because it looks like Thief. Looks like Thief with cool stealth mechanics and things like that. So, Dave, are you with us? See you in there, but he's still muted.
Yeah, I'm here. We're just gonna let you guys watch first, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Oh, okay. No problem. Yeah, let me go ahead and just throw it to the video then. Let me go ahead.
Yeah, turn the volume up too, because sound is super important.
Absolutely. So, just 1 second. Sorry, guys. Did not have a thing here, but I can make it very quickly. I've gotten pretty good at this.
Can you start it over?
I can absolutely start it over, and I will.
Let's start it over. Who wants to see that lighthouse again? We made it just for this video. You guys like the lighthouse?
It took days.
You watched the lighthouse? It took days to make that intro. It took so long. Hark!
Hark.
What's up, everybody? Everybody get in the chat.
Clearly worth it.
I'm gonna gloom. You guys ready to gloom? Is this the gloom? Is this the Coomwood chat?
Dave,
What?
are we really gonna start? Are we really gonna start on
Dave is doing good work right now
What'd you
because
expect?
exactly.
Look at those numbers going up. You know what the kids are here for.
Hold on a second. Oh, why did you do
for
that?
another frick cancer in the
I
bum.
mean, if I had known Fred was gonna talk for an hour, you guys want to see my sex toy collection?
Dave.
I mean, yeah.
It's not. It doesn't look like it's taking up the whole.
It's really not. Yeah, that's weird. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, guys. 1 second.
Get there.
Yeah, my bad. Got
Okay,
caught.
we get to see the lighthouse again.
Yeah. Hold on.
We're gonna do it just one more time. Really get that lighthouse.
Oh yeah, you really want that lighthouse in there. That's some good stuff. See, this is good though. This is you guys get your money's
Fond
worth.
of me, Gloomwood, aren't ye? Oh yeah.
Okay.
Also, they're giving away Nightdive's giving away Dusk and Medieval keys in the stream. So do that. Get in there, get those.
Oh come on. Why is it not? All right. I'm gonna have to just go for it.
You can just run it in the small one. That's fine.
I think we got it. All right.
Move it. Yeah. Up. Yeah. It's not. Oh. That'll do. All right. Start it over one more time.
You got it. Is everybody glooming out there? You guys glooming? Everybody's glooming. Dang, good showing. Solid lighthouse logo. I noticed.
Lighthouse again.
Yeah.
We're already starting it.
Lighthouse again.
Yeah, man. You paid money for that lighthouse. You're gonna get as much.
Wait, did you? Did we pay Gilby?
No, I mean yes. I think we paid the invoice. Do we pay the graphic designer? I don't remember. But yeah, that was Gloomwood, guys. So obviously, heavily inspired by Thief, System Shock, stuff like that. If you like sneaky, stabby, hiding bodies, tricking guards, taffing about, knocking guards out, and then using them to lure in other guards and stuff like that, this is the game for you. Am I gonna say it's Thief with guns? Not exactly, but if Dusk is a spiritual successor to things like Quake and Blood and the medievals like Heretic and Hexen, then Gloomwood is very much Thief and System Shock and games like that. And we've got the developers here, Dylan, and then David, who you know as the guy who made Dusk, is also working on Gloomwood. And
yes,
that's the first we've ever shown like full uncut gameplay.
People seem to really like it, so you guys are doing a great job so far.
Yeah, it's coming along for sure. The hands are going to take us a really long time. Hands are really hard to put in games.
Can confirm.
Just fix it, man. It's like it's some lore or whatever. He's got gloom magic and everything hovers.
No, Dave wants the hands.
Oh.
It's his favorite thing.
Needs a lighthouse, need hands.
My immersion. Can I say trans rights on stream? Of course, trans rights 17,000 times. Trans rights. But yeah, it's coming along. I think we're going to next up. We're working on this demo. So what you're seeing here is like the demo we've got here is like one slice of the city. It'll probably take you about 30 minutes to play through. You can do it like every encounter in this area has like 3 ways to go about it. You can go loud, with your guns. You can go super sneaky stabby. You can just go around people. There's different ways to do it. As you saw, Dylan went through here. He used secret passages and stuff, but there was like 2 other ways he could have done it. And it's just, if you remember games like Deus Ex and Thief and stuff, there's always like 2 to 3 ways to go about everything. There's always a crawl space. There's always an air duct. There's always some way to go up and over or under or around or distract somebody with coins or bottles or knock them out or kill them. So if you like games like that, this is what Dylan loves. So he's making Gloomwood for everybody with a little bit of help from the rest of us.
Yeah, right on. Are you guys trying to bite this off as kind of its own setting? Because I know obviously you talk about its spiritual inspiration, Thief. The first Thief hit and had a shocking amount of depth to its world and its lore and its characters and things like that. Are you guys taking a look at that for this game, or are you mostly just focusing on the Deus Ex style gameplay and just trying to recreate that?
The world building is a really important part of it. So there will be like readables, there will be lore. You'll understand what's going on in the city, why everything is the way it is. I really wanted to get a kind of like cursed Jack the Ripper London vibe, and you're just trying to figure out why the city has gone into disarray, why everyone is these like weird creatures. And yeah, that's part of the mystery, unraveling what's going on.
Right on. Is there anything that's maybe different when compared to like the Thief of yore? Something that may be a little more modernized or approachable?
Yeah.
All right.
Who wants to go?
Do you want to go, David?
Sure. Well, it's as much. Well, maybe not as much, but it's also inspired by sort of survival horror games in a way. That's why you see things like guns and ammunition and stuff like that. It's even though the first Thief is actually like at least half a horror game. This is even more so a horror game, I think. We're bringing in, like Dave said, we're bringing in a lot of different elements from a variety of different immersive sims. Thief is one of the main inspirations, but System Shock 2 is also another one. And little bits of Deus Ex in there. It's going to be its own thing. A lot like Dusk, where Dusk took a lot of stuff from a lot of different places, and just sort of mixed it together into this Dusk stew that turned out to be kind of its own thing.
Dusk stew.
Yes.
It's hearty. It's familiar, but fresh and new.
Yeah. Every time the Lighthouse showed, Lighthouse! I really like that Lighthouse. Maybe I should pay Gilby more.
Or at all.
Maybe.
More than none.
Yeah.
More than indeterminate amount that could be none.
I think I paid him. Why did you let me call it Gloom World? Because everybody calls it Gloom World, Peter. That's Peter from Destructoid and the Gamer in chat. I call it Gloom World from time to time. That's Dylan's fault for naming it poorly.
Sigh.
As long as it's SEO.
Yeah.
Now you got the 1-2 punch. You got an eminently searchable name and a powerful branding logo.
Yes.
So there's really nothing else a game needs to succeed, I guess, aside from game mechanics and content. But you guys will figure that out.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Is there anything else that you want to make sure people know about Gloomwood?
I don't know, Dylan, David. Anything else they should know?
It has a bunch of stuff that I loved about the original Thief, like the sound propagation and like just being able to just be in that world and hear all the sounds and get that like moody atmosphere. That's the thing that I really loved about the original Thief games. So I really wanted to hone in on.
Yeah, it's got a fully developed like sound propagation system like Thief, where you can like listen at doors. Sound doesn't travel out of rooms where it shouldn't. All of that stuff.
Somebody said it's a
Dylan's actually spent quite a bit of time like trying to replicate a lot of the systems of Thief that we think fit well into the game. Not just kind of on the surface, but like replicating very deeply how those systems work.
Cool. Yeah, I imagine that must be difficult to recreate just by kind of trying to playing and intuit the game systems from Thief and recreate those from scratch.
And doing it on in ways where it kind of like makes sense. Like for this game, we wanted it so you have the option for firearms, but firearms are really loud. So like firing the shotgun, you may like neighbors from the other house may hear it and then come over and investigate. So it's kind of like you're trying to decide, do I take this situation sneakily or do I use my limited ammunition? And there's like consequences to sort of doing things in different ways, and you kind of get to weave your own path through the city that way.
Cool. One question from chat. Alec Hasmo wants to know, what engine is the game running on? Is this something you guys made?
It's Unity.
Oh, okay.
It's Unity. A lot of people think it's Dark Engine and stuff because we've got it looking like so much like modded Thief, but it is Unity, which means yes, we will be able to put it on consoles and stuff pretty easily. Hopefully, maybe.
It's never been a problem in the past, has it?
Yeah, no, right after Dusk on Switch, which is totally coming out at some point before the apocalypse.
It's another soon TM.
Soon TM. Dusk on Switch is actually coming pretty soon. We're working on it right now. It was playable at PAX. I was talking to Nintendo. We have to pick a release date, but release dates are my kryptonite, so it's going to be tough. But yeah, Dusk on Switch is happening. All the other stuff we've got is happening. We just put out updates for Medieval, Maximum Action. Dusk SDK now has custom music, so you can play custom levels with custom music, from games like Doom. So yeah, we're working on tons of stuff, but Gloomwood is definitely the one that we wanted to show you guys first, especially with Nightdive working on stuff like System Shock. We thought it'd be a perfect time to join the stream and show off Gloomwood to people who would appreciate a game like Gloomwood. The demo, so what you're seeing right now, the part of the city that Dylan's playing through, that demo we're going to make available for free because we hate money. And then if you guys really like that, we're going to polish it up and work on early access, where we're going to kind of work on each section of the city and open the city up that way until eventually it's just kind of one big interconnected city. Let me promise some stuff so Dylan freaks out. You're gonna be able to pick locks. You're gonna be able to steal keys off of guards' belts. We're adding a battle royale versus multiplayer. It's gonna be available on Dreamcast.
Hell yeah.
What else? Ooh, hands. So we're gonna have hand animation. So everything you touch
Big
in
hands.
the game, like
where's my contract? I need to rip it up now.
just like in Thief 4, Thief 4, which is the best Thief game. You'll just be able to run your hands across everything and poke at stuff. It's gonna be really cool.
Can you unlock different skins for your hands? That's important.
Yes. Oh, so yeah, but they're all going to be locked behind a paywall.
That's fine.
But if you want the skin sooner, you can pay to speed up time like a shitty mobile game, because that's how we do things.
Oh, Battle Pass, dude! You need to get a premium Battle Pass in there.
Yes.
Sneaky Pass.
Oh my god, yeah. That'll be sweet. Then we're gonna put Igor in the game because everybody likes Igor. It's the best operator. Igor gang. I know you're out there. Yeah, this is just going off the rails.
Excellent.
Lost the narrative.
All right. Last question from chat. This is an important one. Are you guys going to invent new slurs for the game, a la Thief?
God.
What? Like instead of Taffer, I guess you mean, right?
Exactly. That's
Dylan,
exactly what I mean.
Dylan, do we have anything yet? I think you had some ideas, right?
I'm not sure, because Dishonored did that thing with Choffer, and I don't think it really came off quite as well. I want to think about that. I think we could play around with something that would be amusing and really funny, but it's something we're gonna have to think about and make sure it fits with the world that we're building.
Yes, it's got to fit. Got to have that consistent lore. Otherwise, I'm out.
Yeah.
I won't be buying the Battle Pass for
can't
Season
be
2.
so convincing that people mistake it for a real slur.
It's got to be very phonetically distinct. That's absolutely sure.
Yes.
All right.
There will be. I mean, listen, we love our and stuff like that. We love doing things that are an homage to the games that our games are inspired by, for sure. So there will definitely be some Thiefy, System Shocky fan service in there. I'm sure at some point in the game you'll have to press 0451 on something. But yeah, so if you want to follow along, obviously we are at New Blood. You can join our Discord at discord.gg/newblood. Follow Dylan for the most up-to-date Gloomwood stuff. And what are you, Jolly Rogers 99? You can put it in chat. Everybody just kind of knows him as the Taffer King. David obviously is Dusk Dev. You can find our games at wehate.money, notfortnite.com. What else?
These are all real URLs, by the way.
Real URLs. I can't believe it's not hexen.com. Ooh, hexen3.com, blood3.com.
I'm just going through your GoDaddy receipts now.
Oh yeah. PewDiePie.exposed. I own that one.
You gotta be ready.
You gotta be ready for in case this shit happens. So yeah, that's all we've got. I hope you guys like Gloomwood. I hope you come and hang out. Thank you, Nightdive, for having us. Oh, I guess I should also announce that since Limited Run is here, we are going to be working with Limited Run on the Dusk Collector's Editions for Switch and also the Big Box Collector's Edition. I saw that Sigil Big Box. I held that thing in my hand, and I immediately I said, Doug, we gotta do some shit. This is awesome. So we're gonna be working on the big box collector's editions everybody wanted. We're gonna be doing a physical version for Switch. There's gonna be soap in the collector's edition because you gotta have that soap, especially now more than ever. You need the Dusk soap.
Should put some Dusk toilet paper in there.
Yeah, right. People will be buying the collector's edition just to get toilet paper. But yeah, thanks for having us, Lawrence. You're the best. If I ever make it back to the States, we'll hang out again, go to some punk shows.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. My thumb's all healed up now. I won't get it jammed in the pit anymore.
Yeah, man. Oh man, I'll tell you guys that story one time about how fucking Lawrence jumped right into the pit at a Guttermouth show and immediately broke his hand.
Yeah, basically. It was. I got halfway through one song and it was rough. I jammed it once and then I was like, well, I'll just ball it up and it'll be safe. And then I was moshing and jammed it again and I was like, okay, nope, I almost threw up because that hurt so bad. I got to get out. Dave, thank you so much for joining us. Dylan, Doug, thank you guys too. Gloomwood looks amazing. It kind of filling a niche like a lot of your products have. One of those games that was just loved, but we haven't seen in a long time before. So yeah, got to see that Lighthouse again. You bought enough time. All right, thank you, thank you guys so much. The great game looks amazing. Best of luck going forward, and I can't wait to see more of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good evening, guys. All right, next up we've got. Another this game's pretty cool. This is like a cutesy indie game, but got a trailer for it. Here you go. Here is Melon Journey 2.
Hi, by the way.
Hi. All right. Well, that's Melon Journey 2. I'm joined now by Wolfgang and Carolina, who are developing Melon Journey 2. So it's an interesting concept. Trying to wrap my head around it. Is it looks like it's a hedgehog melon eating simulator? What exactly is this? It seems like it's like an adventure game where you kind of uncover a dark and sinister plot inside of a cutesy town filled with adorable animals.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you are playing as the little bunny character walking around there, and you are trying to find out what happened to your friend.
Oh, okay. So your friend just up and disappears, and then you go off to solve a mystery and figure out what happened, huh?
That's right.
So melons are illegal in this world, and you have to go to a town where they're illegal, but you work at a melon producing factory. So, like, you get caught up in a lot of dangerous stuff.
What's the gameplay mechanic? Is it just sort of overworld, walking around, talking to characters and investigating kind of thing?
Yeah, mostly. You're kind of walking around. Yeah, you are exploring the various towns, environments, factories, and trying to suss out what happened with your friend and what's going on in the town at large.
Cool. I noticed it has the sort of kind of monochrome aspect, that green on black. Is that meant to harken to the Game Boy or maybe monochrome monitors in the past?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like Game Boy, and also, like, since it's all melon based, it just ties in really well.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a nice little melon shade for the whole game.
Yeah.
Gosh, I could watch
yeah, so Carolina here is the artist, and I'm the producer on this project.
Great. Okay. So
I'm also the director too.
Ooh, okay. So for the what was your art inspiration for the game? I mean, obviously it's just downright adorable, and mixing adorable and sinister is always a good combo. But what are your, aside from just general Game Boy aesthetic, what were some of your inspirations for the art style of the game?
The Hamtaro Game Boy games were a big inspiration, and also other RPG Maker games like Yume Nikki.
Okay, so would you say for like fans of games like that, obviously they might want to check this out?
Yeah, definitely.
There's a really good picture of Carolina when she was a kid holding up, was it a Hamtaro plushie on Twitter?
No, it was a little like perler bead Hamtaro.
Yeah,
original.
And she was like, "Thank you so much to Hamtaro for inspiring me to make Melon Journey."
Man, now I feel like I have to go back and play these Hamtaro games. I think I remember seeing like trailers for them. Were they sort of similar to this, just like kind of top-down exploration games?
Yeah, the gameplay is actually really similar. Like, you just walk around and talk to people and try to progress through the story.
Okay, so if we want a preview of Melon Journey, we should go back and check out Hamtaro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work.
Cool.
But there's also Melon Journey 1, so you could play that too if you wanted.
Yeah, I was
so
curious.
The original Melon Journey came out in 2012, I think, right, Carol?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that game is, I think it might have also been your guys' first game. Is that right?
Yeah, it was our very first game we ever
Yeah,
made.
it's our first game. So we haven't really announced all of this yet, but we're planning on remaking that game and make it playable on, we'll call them older systems, potentially.
Ah.
Yeah, so that first game is, it's someone's first game from 8 years ago, right? So it's, it's a little rough.
Yeah,
it's very cute. It's very quaint.
It's not great.
It's not great. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring up the little story from that first game and make it something that's both kind of ties in more of the second game and makes it look nicer and something that you can play on the go, if you catch my drift.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, somebody in chat saying that the original's on itch. Is that correct?
Yes, the original is on rpgmaker.net and Itch.io.
Okay. Are they connected, like, just loosely in the world? Are there some returning characters? Like, is there a reason somebody might want to go back and play the original?
They're connected incredibly loosely, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's been, 8 years? It's probably not a direct sequel at that point.
It's 8 years, and the game is, like, you can finish it maybe in 20, 30 minutes. So
Oh, okay. All right. Well, just a little tease then.
Yeah. So this the second game, I think it's running at a 5-hour runtime right now, and I think that might increase with some partners we might pull in. We might kind of blow the budget out and everything. But with how much music is in this game now? Would you say?
There's I feel like it's a 2-hour long soundtrack.
Yeah. So this is way different and a much larger experience than that earlier game. And so I saw this game online a while ago, and I immediately had to contact the development team, Verge Club, to get a build from them because I loved what I played. So I was like, yo, let's work together on this. I really love this. So
cool.
Thank you.
Well, if people are interested, where should they go to know more about the game? Obviously, the trailer says it right now. It says to wishlist it on Steam.
Please go wishlist our game on Steam.
Yeah.
The algorithm will love you and us if there was more numbers. If the numbers get bigger.
Make those numbers bigger, everyone.
Make those numbers bigger, yes.
And remember to eat your melons, please.
And to wash your hands.
Melons are good for you.
Slice open your melon, scoop out the seeds, and enjoy.
It's hydrating, it's low calorie, it's nutritious. There's nothing wrong with melon. So
that's right. There's nothing wrong with melons, and that's our stance.
Exactly. Well, Carolina, Wolfgang, thank you guys so much for stopping by to talk about Melon Journey 2.
Thanks a lot, Lawrence.
I'm excited to dig in, man. This seems like a really uplifting and kind of light way to spend an evening. I'm excited to dig into it.
Dig on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a good night, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we've got Sons of Ra, which is a tower defense competitive game. So you can see that now. We got some footage to show you too. Let me go ahead and start cycling that on here. It's this is an interesting game. It's been a while since I've really dug into a tower defense, so I'm excited to sort of I don't know. It seemed like there were so many of them a while ago, and then maybe just kind of fizzled for a while, but
dropped off.
Yeah, but welcome guys. So let's see here. Do we have everyone in here? Jeff, Joe, Mark from Pharaoh Hound.
Yes.
Welcome, guys. So yeah, what's the kind of the high level idea behind Sons of Ra?
So Sons of Ra is basically it's a competitive tower defense game. So it sort of combines tower defense games and auto battlers into this thing that you can. We wanted anyone to be able to play it. So I'm terrible at RTS games, but I can still play this game, and we found that so many people can still play this game, which has been basically our goal.
How did you accomplish that? Because I feel like in the early days, tower defense was pretty simple. It's just drag and drop towers, and then guys run through and die. And then at a certain point, with auto battlers, it kind of started to shift and got a lot more complicated and intricate. So how do you guys strike that balance between being mechanically complex but also still playable?
So we tried to simplify the mechanics and control systems down the best of our ability. The entire game is controlled with a radial menu that makes it really accessible on controllers. So you don't necessarily need to remember a ton of hotkeys. And then we also made micromanagement a lot lower, because when you pick a unit, you're not picking, you're not grabbing a group of units and moving them to a specific location. You're picking which lane they're going to go down. So all you have to really manage is how many guys are in each lane and where they are and do they need to be supported.
Okay. How did you guys settle on the Egyptian theme and aesthetic for the game?
Oh boy, this is a story.
Yeah? Okay, good.
We always loved me story. Originally this game began as a class project. We all went to college together. And without going into too much detail about that whole situation of what the class was about, we made groups to make games. And everyone in the class had to come up with a concept, with her only restriction being it had to in some way involve Steven Spielberg movies. And I'm not exactly a movie buff, but I have seen Indiana Jones. And I was like, I like mythology, and they went to Egypt and that. So let's just say, sure, it was totally Indiana Jones that inspired this, and not that I play a lot of Smite.
Gotcha. Okay, and now it's starting to click together. Yeah, I can see. I can see some of the Smite influence then. I mean, I'm sorry. It's totally Steven Spielberg, not Smite.
We got a good grade in that class, so it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're going on to make a full game, which
Yes.
What's the ratio to that? Like maybe 1 out of 100.
Oh my gosh. I have no idea.
We had no
this was
expectations.
at all. Like we just wanted to do this and like, hey, this is a cool thing. We're gonna get a good grade. And then it was like, hey, our professor basically approached us after we decided we were gonna like keep working on it and make it like a resume piece. And our professor approached us and said, hey, do you want to go to this thing at E3? And it's like, yeah, we want to go to E3. So we got to go with the student showcase there, and we ended up getting chosen as the top college game in the United States, which was like out of this world amazing. It was like so cool to get that, and like we're like next to Nintendo. They have this giant thing for Pokemon, and it's just it was a crazy experience.
Yes, for context, we all got a small like little booth lounge area in the West Hall last year. It was 2019.
Oh man.
You
guys might have gone to the last E3.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah. There's something very vaguely Indiana Jones about that.
Champions of the college game competition.
Yeah, no one can take the belt. You guys got it. It's just going to be sitting in your trunk 10 years from now. Like stacks of dice awards, I'm sure.
Yes, of course.
Well, congratulations, guys. That's an amazing story. Yeah, it's
Thank you.
Exceedingly rare that that students can get together and not only not kill each other, but actually have a project that manages to go through full production.
Yeah,
and
it's actually been said a couple times about that class specifically. Like everyone talks about like a horror story, but through our experience, we're all like, our team has had such cohesion, and we're not like at each other's throats at all.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And, yeah, it just kind of worked out.
Cool. Well, you guys are coming to early access this summer, correct?
That's our goal. Yeah, we plan to launch early access in the summer. Right now, we can actually play our game. There's a demo for the because GDC was canceled, so you can play our game in like this Steam festival that's going on right now. If you just look Sons of Ra on Steam, y'all can play. And then we have a beta that's going to be in April. Mark, do you have the date for that?
April 3rd through 5th.
Nice.
And
we
how
want people to play it?
How will sorry? Can people join the beta through Steam? Because
so the beta, you actually have to join our Discord. The Steam demo right now is available to everybody, but if you want to be able to access the beta, you have to join our Discord, which you can find through our website, our a Steam page, through the game itself. You can find it pretty much everywhere.
Okay. And what features are in the demo right now? Does it have like full competitive multiplayer already?
So we have the local multiplayer version, which is the original form that the game took, and we also have a brand new first look at a single player mode, just a basic player versus AI thing that I spent the last like month and a half just absolutely flummoxed over, but yeah, that's what we got. We have 2 of our 3 maps available to play. Dunes, which is a basic 3-lane map, and Sinet, which is a 2-lane map based on an ancient Egyptian board game. And 2 of our gods are available to be played as. Currently that is Ra and Isis. The beta will have access to other things, which can be seen in the game but not played. Or seen in the demo but not played.
Great. Well, again, guys, congratulations. Thanks so much for stopping by to show off the game. I guess, yeah, look up Sons of Ra on Steam right now. Join the Discord for beta access. Is there anything else you'd like people to know about Sons of Ra?
People say it's fun.
And that's what games are for, so you guys are doing something right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Mark, Jeff, Joe, thank you guys so much for stopping by. And again, huge congratulations on how everything's been going. Best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, have a good evening, guys.
Thank you, you too.
See ya.
Yeah, bye. All right, next up. So I've been excited about everything. I'll be honest about that. But this one coming up is very much my shit. It's rhythm. It's anime. It's called Unbreakable. Or sorry, Unbeatable. Unbreakable was the movie with Bruce Willis. They're basically the same thing. Anyway, it's a cool trailer. Please enjoy. Cool. All right. Well, that's unbeatable. We've got Jeffrey and Rachel and a few others on the phone right now from D-Cell Games. Looks like RJ, Andrew, Jeffrey, and Rachel.
Yeah, that's us.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
This game looks awesome. Where did the concept for this come from?
So there were a lot of things that inspired this. A lot of it is, well, anime, specifically like 90s anime, Fooly Cooly, some old like Gynax show. That was like the main inspiration, but also a lot of people on the team are really fond of like rhythm games, Stepmania, DDR, what have you. So we really wanted to like mesh those two into something with, like a really cool vibe, just kind of get that anime aesthetic going combined with some really intense rhythm gameplay.
That's fantastic. I feel like the attempts that have been made to kind of hybridize those things have always been fondly remembered. I'm seeing a lot of people bring up Legend of Dragoon recently, which kind of has that sort of combo system. So I feel like there has been a bit of a gap in games that try to hybridize rhythm game mechanics with like RPG mechanics. Because I feel like every time it's tried, it usually at least develops a cult following. I'm sure you guys are hoping for a little bit more than that, but I'm glad you guys are out there trying it out.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
Yeah. So let's see here. It's on the soundtrack, music duo Peak Divide, vocal performances by Rachel Lake. That's pretty cool. I guess what are you most excited for people to experience about this game?
Honestly,
There's so much.
Yeah?
There's so much.
How long have you guys been working on it?
2 years.
2 years.
Just
Around 2 years.
Yeah.
This current build was put together, I think, starting around last August. And before that, there was like a lot of development going on behind the scenes just to get systems working, test out like aesthetic choices, musical influences.
Yeah, both me and Andrew started making this game in high school, like late high school basically. So it's been like only a few years, but yeah, it's been a huge journey for us.
Great. Are you guys starting around the corner on it? Do you have a loose release window coming up?
We always joke it's coming out 2020X.
Which is why we put that there. Yeah, we had that in the trailer.
Well, that gives you it gives you a pretty big window then.
We're still really early in development, but right about now is when we started like kicking into gear. We're starting to get the meat of the game together. Basically, most of the pre-production is done. So we're hoping it'll be in your hands sooner rather than later. But that's all. That. No firm release.
Yeah.
How does the Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I mean, like I was just echoing that. Like 2 years is probably going to be the general thing that we have in mind, but we're not like gonna nail that down and promise anything on that. It'll be done when it's done.
Gotcha.
The real, yeah.
The whole when it's done. Yeah, we're used to that.
That's
good.
To game dev.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. How exactly do the game mechanics work? Because it looks like there's enemies flying at the main character from both sides, and I assume that's in rhythm with a backing track. But do you have to tap different buttons depending on what direction the enemies are coming from in time with the song? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So the game has 4 keys that you press. 2 are high attacks, 2 are low attacks, and on each side, they're split up by side, right? And so the controls themselves are pretty simple. You just hit the button that corresponds to where the enemy is on screen. So if it's on the left top, then you hit the button that corresponds to the left top. And then inside of that, we'll have like different enemy types, enemies that you like hit multiple times, enemies that'll switch the side that they're facing on to keep things kind of interesting for the player, and keep the challenge up as you get into harder and harder songs.
Okay, so is that basically the huge Stepmania DNA, the 4 buttons that kind of come down with the song? It's kind of like the 4 arrows in DDR or Stepmania?
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty comparable.
And then I assume too that kind of like rhythm games, there would be various difficulties of note charts for given songs or different combat and stuff like that?
Yeah. Everything currently is rated on like a star scale, so it's very granular in terms of how hard the song is. It's not just like a simple easy, medium, hard. There's there's specific like numerical difficulties that we're giving each song, so you can really pinpoint where you're at, what kind of songs you think that you can pass, that sort of thing.
Very cool. All right. Well, where should people go if they want to know more about the game and follow its development?
Okay.
Hit
so
you can go, Jeff.
Yeah,
I don't
can
want to cut you
okay,
off.
So, check out our website, unbeatablegame.com. It's just got updated with screenshots of the game. Our Twitter is DCellGames, at DCellGames. That's where you can basically follow us. We'll be most active on there. Going forward, we're going to be posting a lot more of the game, more GIFs, more footage of the game. So stay tuned for that.
A lot more footage of specifically the story sections. For the most part, what we've shown off as of right now have been a lot of the rhythm gameplay, and so we're going to see if we can't pivot that towards the other half of the game, which is that narrative content.
And then bit.ly/unbeatable Discord. We are going to be pretty frequently posting in there updates, a bunch of stuff that we're not going to be posting on Twitter, tinier things, little blog posts, things like that.
One such thing we're going to be posting is basically what we titled Empty Diary Acoustic Explosion. It is the trailer version of the song that you just heard. You can download it MP3 and LOS, and it will be exclusive on our Discord, popping right now.
Cool. Awesome. Yep. Yeah, this game looks really, really neat. I can't wait to soon or someday when it's done. Can't wait to dig into it.
2020X.
2020X. I'll be there.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations, guys. It looks great so far. It's an awesome concept. I feel like it's filling a void that hasn't really been touched for a while. So, yeah, appreciate you guys working on this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, have a good evening, everyone.
Yeah,
you too.
You too.
Yeah, all right. Moving on. Our next game is called Fist of the Forgotten. We've got a little trailer for you. This one looks interesting. Check it out. All right, that's Fist of the Forgotten. I've got Nathan here with me to talk through some gameplay footage that we've got rolling right now.
Hello.
Hey,
for having me on here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Let me just rearrange this in the order that you kind of gave to me here.
No worries.
Let's see here.
So, basically, what I'm trying to do here is make a platformer that's kind of accessible to a number of players. I know a lot of people are fans of the very hardcore games like Super Meat Boy and Celeste, but I'm trying to make a game that's a little more approachable, but also fun at a higher skill level. So here I've got the player kind of wandering around. This is how a new player might approach the game. Not really sure, how the mechanics work. So the very first level has nothing that's going to kill you. Very easy to go through, and then after that, I'll show a run through of how a more skilled player might approach it, because there's a lot of mechanics in the game that are a little, maybe not traditional. There's some mechanics for like sliding down slopes and ramp jumps and double jumps and some stuff like that. So you can really get going fast. And I'm hoping that the game plays well at different levels. So even if you're really skilled at a platformer, the first levels will be fun just because trying to get the best times possible will be an interesting challenge, even if you're not worried about like avoiding death.
Yeah, I see someone in chat says it's kind of similar to N+. Was that maybe an inspiration for this game, or?
It's not a direct inspiration. I mean, it's a similar genre of game. It's very momentum based. I actually brought in a lot of elements from first person shooters. So I was a big player of Quake 2 and a lot of other first person shooters. So I brought in some mechanics like ramp jumping and double jumping and just different things that kind of, I don't know how much they've been tried in a platformer environment before, but it's the kind of stuff that I'm familiar with. So those are the things. Yeah, bunny hopping, somebody pointed out in chat. So we're on the boss. I'm a little bit behind here because of the stream delay, but the thing I wanted to do with the boss battles is have something more organic. The thing I've noticed in a lot of platformers is they tend to have very fixed, like it's not like you're fighting a boss, it's more like you're fighting a pattern machine, and you have to know when to jump and when to dodge and, you know, destroy X number of objects. But one of the things that was really fun was, you know, just I throw in a giant robot and then I figure out how it behaves and what are the fun mechanics to interact with while that's happening. And I found this fun little thing where if you jump on top of the robot when he jumps, then you get like a boost because he's boosting you up, and then you're jumping on top of that. So then I put a little collectible there that you can get. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with the boss battles. I've got a sneak preview of the second boss coming up later, and let's see what we have. Oh yeah, so after the boss battle, this is the first boss, and this is where you get the gigantic mechanical fist that gives you not only the ability to attack other enemies, but it gives you the ability for more platforming mechanics. So you can use the fist to boost yourself, you can use the fist to kind of close gaps or jump higher or jump further, and then you can start combining all the mechanics. You can slide down a slope and jump and then punch. And so as the game progresses, there's going to be more and more mechanics that build on top of each other. So I'm hopefully going to introduce them at a pace where they are interesting, but give people enough time to absorb them. Close the gaps or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kind of demonstrating, you know, what the game is going to play like. I'm not trying to get a perfect run through of the game. Plus I was kind of rushed getting all this stuff together, and it's all still very much a work in progress. There's a lot of just floating boxes and stuff that are placeholder art, but hopefully it's fun and interesting.
Yeah. You seem to have or just from the looks of it seems like you got a good sort of platforming physics engine going on with the jump arcs and the momentum that you keep by hitting downslopes and things like that.
Yeah. So the it's been an ongoing process dialing all that stuff in. There's a lot of tuning and tweaking and
we got grapple
thinking
hooks?
things that are really good ideas that turn out not to be so good ideas. Yeah, so I'm a little bit delayed on here, but yes. So the plan is after each boss, you will get new abilities. So you'll be able to get things like the ability to wall hang and wall jump and air jump and grapple. And grapple's probably going to be the last unlock that you get because it completely changes the way the mechanics work. But that is, it's still work in progress. These are not finalized. They may or may not show up in the game. And this is that spider bot is the final boss. Well, not final boss. The second boss. Sorry, my brain's all frazzled right now. But it doesn't have any AI just yet. I'm just working on some of the procedural animation of the legs and stuff. Just wanted to show that off because I thought it was kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. Got a little leg stretch there, some inverse kinematics.
Yeah. So it's actually supposed to jump over gaps. I haven't gotten that implemented yet, but it's the menu thing is actually, that one needs some sound because I
can crank it up.
The idea there is that as you scroll up and down in the menu, it plays different notes, so you can kind of play music with the menu. I just thought that was kind of a fun little feature. Yeah, I've got a very solid frame rate in this game. Like I'm making it run. I've actually got it capped at 500, but I'm running at probably around 900 to 1,000 FPS on my gaming rig, which means it's actually playable on lower end hardware. I'm hoping to make this run on potatoes and mobile devices and stuff as well. So also I'm trying to make everything very smooth and fluid.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got 144 hertz or higher monitor, like all of the animations and everything will blend and be very smooth. A lot of platformers are running at 30 or 60 FPS, and I just want mine to be like just butter smooth no matter what frame rate you're playing at.
As someone who appreciates very high frame rate gameplay, that's awesome. Especially for a game like this that is just all about the tactile experience of jumping, landing jumps, and gaining speed. It only makes sense that you'd want it to be as responsive and crisp and like smooth as possible.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to make it as responsive and crisp, and also putting some helpers in there so it's not like super hardcore precision platformer. Like I get very frustrated with games like Super Meat Boy where you have to frame perfect time some of those jumps, or it seems like frame perfect, and if you press it too soon or too late, then you miss it. So this has jump buffering and some things where, like, if you jumped just a little past the edge of a platform, it'll actually kind of rewind and put you back at the very edge of the platform. So you get that precise jump without having to be frame perfect, and it won't be very frustrating. But then when the speedrunners get a hold of it, then like they're gonna take it to a completely different level where I don't even know what they're gonna do with it. I'm trying to introduce a whole bunch of mechanics in there where it'll be very fun to speedrun, but it'll also be approachable at a more casual level.
All right, this one might be a bit of a deep question for you, but Cody in chat wants to know if it's going to run on a Raspberry Pi 4 running Raspbian or Ubuntu.
I don't know. I'm gonna limit the platforms I'm supporting initially, so it'll probably be. I'm focusing on PC right now, and then if that goes well, then I'll start looking at other platforms, probably Linux, and ideally Switch and some console platforms if I can get those on there. But
gotta get 288 frames out of the Switch.
Yeah,
even though the display doesn't support it, you got to do it.
It might be possible. We'll see.
Yeah. Do you have any kind of loose? Are you just working on it, kind of going at the pace you're going, and when it's done, it's done, or do you have a window in mind?
Yeah, it's kind of a when it's done type of thing.
Gotcha.
I'm hoping within a couple years, but it's very much a work in progress, and I'm a solo dev, and games take a lot of time and work to make, so I can't really predict how long it's going to take. I feel like I've been stuck at about 20% for ages. The more I work on it, the more I realize there is to do, and it's like the start line and the finish line keep moving out, but I feel like I'm stuck in the same spot.
Well, I mean, as somebody who just walked in, it looks like it's coming along great, so I can say that much at least.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm excited to check it out. Where should people go if they're excited to follow the progress of this game?
You can go to fistoftheforgotten.com, and that has links to the Steam page and some other stuff. So there's also at Fist Forgotten. You can follow me, that's on Twitter, and at Jitsbo for my personal Twitter account. And I'm going to post a couple keys out here. I forgot to send them to Nightdive Studios, but hopefully it's okay if I just kind of paste these in chat. So these are for the alpha version of the game. I do have an alpha version on Steam, so I'll send a couple keys out here. People can redeem those on Steam. That's just the alpha version of the game, so if you want to post feedback, you can join the Discord channel. That'd be awesome. If you guys could wishlist this on Steam, that would be amazing too, because that helps visibility with the whole Steam algorithms and stuff, and it's very difficult to sell enough copies of a game to continue making games, so I'm hoping this works out. I was actually in AAA before this. I worked at Foxtail Studios and then decided to go indie after that shut down. So
cool. Well, hey, best of luck. Congratulations on sticking with it. I know that it can't have been easy to decide to strike it on your own, but it looks like it's coming along really well so far. Yeah, I hope that all the platforming enthusiasts out there find this game and fall in love with it, because it looks like it does look like it has that skill cap that's ridiculously high. So, are you excited to get it in people's hands and see what ridiculous stuff they do with it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's been really fun just when I see people play it and they approach things very differently than the way I design them. But sometimes it works out, and then it's like, oh, well, I can just polish that path, or, oh, that's completely broken and I need to fix that. So it's really fun to see how people approach some of these platforms and stuff.
Cool. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for dropping by and showing us Fist of the Forgotten. I guess, was it fistoftheforgotten.com and then wishlisting it on Steam?
fistoftheforgotten.com.
Okay. And wishlisted on Steam. Thank you so much for dropping by. Appreciate it. The game looks awesome. I like jumping on things.
Thanks so much.
I'm glad you're still making jumpy games. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, next up, we've got, might win the award for the best title of the show so far. We have a trailer for this game for Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. So enjoy. Yeah, short trailer for Turnip Boy. Welcome, guys. I've got Jordan, Jen, and Yukon on the line here, the developers of Turnip Boy. We're all turning up for Turnip Boy. Welcome, guys. Oh boy, that trailer was really loud. Sorry about that.
Hello.
Yeah. So what should people know about? Just on the surface, the hearts, the sword. It's pretty easy to assume that this is something similar to Zelda, but the title implies a lot more. So what's the concept behind Turnip Boy?
So Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. It's a super goofy farming Zelda-like about a turnip who gets evicted from his greenhouse because he commits tax. So the only way to get your greenhouse back is to do a bunch of odd jobs for Mayor Onion as his assistant. And so basically, you'll find a watering can that you deal from Old Man Lemon. And grow a bunch of tools that you can use to solve all these plantastic puzzles and adventure through these worn-down buildings and challenge these massive bosses. And slowly through the game, you'll start to uncover all these secrets from the old world and discover that, whoa, everything isn't what is. So yeah.
Oh, we got lore, we got backstory.
Yeah, there's deep lore.
Oh, we got everything.
Yeah, we one of the first steps we did when we planned out this game was actually a massive world building spree of why is this turnip here? What is he doing? We actually started the game with just Turnip Boy and then the greenhouse. And we're why does this turnip want to get to this greenhouse? And so we kind of just went crazy around that initial concept. So,
we got a question in chat. What platforms will this be for?
So right now we're targeting just Steam. We also have itch. It will be on your typical PC platforms, Windows, Mac, and Linux. We plan to support all three of those at launch. And then we would love to do consoles and stuff. But that is ultimately we're looking for publisher support to help out with that. So that's ideally the.
Okay, great. Is the game playable on itch right now? I saw that there was. Okay.
You can download the. We have a demo up. So we have all our information at playturnipboy.com.
I will also post it in the chat.
Oh, great! Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have a demo there that you can try right now. You'll go through the barn, taking care, in quotes, of the animals in there for Mayor Onion because he wants to turn into a town hall. So we have that, just a little slice of what you can expect. We have a ton of dungeons planned, all with like these crazy scenarios that Turnip Boy gets thrust in that uncover more about the world itself.
You mentioned that there's a farming aspect to the game too. How complicated is that layer of the game? Is this sort of like Rune Factory vibes, where it's half farming, but then the things you farm also help you explore dungeons and things like that?
Yes and no. I think I actually haven't played Rune Factory, but it's kind of just so basically you'll find these plants throughout the world, and you can use your watering can to grow them, and so there's tons of different ones. Like the sword you get in the beginning is one of those plants, as well as these boom blooms that you can see in the first dungeon, where basically you grow it and they explode, and you can use it to blow up doors, blow up rocks, and you can get items that help you manipulate those plants. For example, like boom bloom boots, which let you kick them. So we have a bunch of plants like that planned out. They're all kind of location specific, puzzle specific, but we plan on using them in very interesting ways.
You can also grow your own hats, which is yeah. We're very proud of our hat system in Turnip Boy.
Oh wait, TF2 now?
You can make him bald too.
Oh,
yeah. Oh yes, we have bald Turnip
Bald
Boy.
Turnip Boy.
I see the little. So the little green sprout. That's one of many hats that Turnip Boy can wear.
You get a hat that cuts it off.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, it's like scissors.
Oh, geez. Okay. That's a very dangerous hat. I also have to call out, I'm very impressed with how articulately you can say boom bloom. You rattled that off?
Yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah,
Clearly an expert at this point.
Saying it for about 6-7 months, so I'm happy I can say it somewhat consistently now. Trust me, the beginning was a rough pad.
Yeah, you're clearly mastered at this point. Okay, well, given that this game has deep lore, I'm curious. I'll just throw it to each one of you guys. Let me know, what is your favorite bit about the lore that you're willing to share at this point?
Ooh, man. So I'll start that with humans exist in the world, and I'm not saying anything else other than.
Okay. I guess the plants had to get the idea for taxes from someone.
Exactly.
I think the characters are the favorite part, like for me.
Mm-hmm.
They're all very humorous, but all very wholesome as well. My favorite's Old Man Lemon, so he's a lad.
Yo, okay.
Can't wait.
I don't know if I can actually disclose this, but Turnip Boy's canonical height is my favorite part about this lore.
You can disclose that. You can.
Turnip Boy. Okay, so Turnip Boy's canonical height is 6 feet. So do with that what you want, but that is my favorite part of this lore by miles.
So is this some sort of radioactive dystopian wasteland where all the plants have taken over the world and there are people, but they're enslaved? Am I getting ahead of myself here? Probably.
You'll have to play the game to find out.
Was that Old Man Lemon? I saw him. Okay, sorry, I got excited. He's very cute. He's got a little cane.
Thank you.
So that means everything's to scale, which means these are like 6 foot tall snails.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my favorite part about that too is that the birds are technically still their normal size. So you have these giant mutant snails just like sliming around, and then you have like a tiny bird. I really want to experiment with like the whole like predator versus prey thing in this world, and like did snails and worms start to eat birds? Whoa. Like build out that lore a bit more. A lot of the lore, actually, fun fact is we come up with it very late at night in cars, potentially sometimes under the influence, and so we come up with a lot of wacky, weird things that we love to just shoehorn into the game and see if we can make it work.
I can see it now. You guys are just like hotboxing in a Target parking lot and just jotting down ideas on a notepad. I mean,
yeah, we definitely have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Something very beautiful came of it, so I think this is probably the most productive that anyone has ever been when they've done that in a car. Well, awesome, guys. Thank you so much for making this game in the first place. It looks delightful and like you said, extremely wholesome in a weird way. And then you guys said you can follow the game on itch. Is there anything else that people should do if they're interested in the game?
Yeah, so we have a Discord. You can go to playturnipboy.com, and there's a link right there. One of them might throw it in the chat. I see it's in the behind the scenes. But yeah, so you can go to our website. We have all our links there. We also are on Steam. You can wishlist us there as well. And wishlists help a ton. That helps us with publicity at launch. And we're trying to put as much as we can into developing this game. So that publicity would definitely help a lot. So yeah.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you for making this. Thank you for having the creativity and the lack of restraint to make a game like this. I'm very excited to check it out. Is there a loose timeline on when we might play the full version?
So okay. So it's probably going to be released when it's done. We've been trying to play around with a lot of dates that it would come out, and we've actually just expanded the scope of the game. We're actually adding more dungeons than we initially planned. So I don't. Right now, we're kind of still figuring things out. So we don't have a set date, but we definitely want it out as soon as possible, and we're shooting for 2020.
Great. Okay. Is there anything else people should know before you guys go about Turnip Boy?
I
mean, we covered a lot. So.
We like to think the game's pretty cool.
You can pre-order it right now too. So you follow the links to the website if you're really interested. That helps development a lot. But yeah, that should be it.
Cool. Well, Yukon, Jordan, Jen, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Thanks for making this.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, wildly original idea. Hope you guys have a great evening, and look forward to the game.
You too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, looks like we've got it's kind of like it's a roguelike. Looks like it's fast, looks like it's intense. It's called Plunge. Check it out. Okay, that's Plunge, or at least that's part of Plunge. We've got Tyler here. Hello, Tyler. How you doing?
Great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. This game looks really, really cool. It's weird. When I first looked at it, I was like, oh, it's like making another Solstice/Equinox, like the old isometric platforming games. But it seems to be more of like an actual roguelike, where it's like turn-based and you have to get down through floors.
Yeah. We kind of went through an interesting process coming up with the idea. We liked the roguelike stuff, but it was always like very steep, kind of niche kind of game. So we tried to combine it with more of a puzzle, like real simple controls and like only the most abstract sense of roguelikes.
Yeah, it looks like the movement mechanics are almost like, like Zelda ice block puzzles, where every time you move all the way to the end of any row until you hit like the end or an enemy. Is that how it works?
Yeah, exactly. And then everything is kind of built around that kind of conception.
Okay. And then similar idea, like when you move, everyone else does too, and you have to kind of track what they're going to be doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
And one thing you put a lot of priority in that movement. So when you're playing, you can go as fast as you want, and all the enemies are just going to kind of catch up with you. You never have to wait for the turn to end. You can enter your next input.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can. Once you sort of see the ones and zeros, you can just start blasting through the whole game as fast as you want.
Yeah, usually to your own death, though.
Yeah, of course. I mean, what sort of roguelike would it be if you weren't dying every 5 minutes?
Oh God, absolutely.
Yeah. So, is this pretty much the kind of the full concept of the game? I mean, obviously there's like a lot of power-ups, there's a lot of different floors. We've got a boss fight we're looking at right now. I guess what's the scope of the game?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to make something like very like bite-sized, very manageable as far as roguelikes and kind of puzzle games are concerned. So it is a lot of like speak for itself kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So this is the rough scope of it. Kind of broken up into these 3 cell block sections, completed with a boss at the end. So there's a pretty good amount of replayability from floor to floor. There is some procedural generation in there. But not too much of an end game, you know. This was going to be something you could just pick up and go. We weren't trying to compete with like the really big roguelikes out there.
Okay, so it's just a nice light experience. Like you said, yeah, pick up and go. It looks like the interface is pretty clean. It looks like unlike most roguelikes, you probably don't have to memorize the effects of like 20 different items and the attack patterns of a bunch of different enemies. You can just kind of pick it up and run with it.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, it's definitely like the first couple play sessions. You pick it up real quick, but there is a lot there to kind of unpack as you get through the later level.
Yeah, the art style is pretty interesting too. It's bizarrely, it feels a little nostalgic for some reason. It reminds me like of like Flash animations from the internet, like Newground stuff, even like circa mid 2000s. What were the inspirations behind the visuals of the game?
Oh my gosh, I've asked our artist so many times what these are, and he's told me so many times, and I always forget. You might know him. He goes by the handle Gloombones.
Huh.
There's a lot of gloom going on here, and I know he's commissioned a couple T-shirts for with Night.
Oh, I can see. Yeah, gloombones.com. That is it for sure, and that's a really cool art style. I think it kind of puts a different flavor on this game.
Oh yeah,
the music is really good too on the trailer.
Yeah, thanks. Our composer is Megan McDuffie. Shout out to her. Oh no, I forgot the name. Oh man, I feel like I'm living in a cave right under a rock.
I'm sure it'll come to you eventually. Yeah, if it does, feel free to shout it out. You can just interrupt. It's no big deal.
Absolutely.
So if people are interested in Plunge, where should they check it out, and what platforms is it coming to? I think it might have been at the end of the trailer here.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we actually came out just a little bit ago. So
congratulations.
We are on. Thanks. Yeah, we're on Switch. We're on Steam, and we're working on localizing to a bunch of other countries. Just trying to cast a really wide net.
Right on. So it's available to buy and play right now, huh?
Yep.
Cool. I hope the launch went well. Everything's been going smoothly so far.
Yeah, so far so good. We're a bunch of kind of moonlighting developers without a huge budget on this stuff. So any sort of kind of scrappy marketing kind of take advantage.
Yeah, I guess that's what this is. So cool. Well, all right. Thanks for coming by to talk about the game. Really appreciate it. Hope you best of luck with the launch, Tyler. I mean, just launching a game at all is always a small miracle. So congratulations on that. And
awesome.
Yeah, hopefully it finds its way into the hands of people that will play it and love it.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, I guess before we go, is there anything you want to make sure people know about Plunge?
Yeah, mostly just check it out and let us know what you think.
All right, Tyler. Well, thank you so much for dropping by. Hope you have a great evening.
Hey, you too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. All right, next up. So we've had a few throwback games so far. I mean, it only makes sense, like Nightdive and 3D Realms and stuff like that. This one is mega throwback, and it looks awesome. It's like almost the golden era of like survival horror games. So check it out. It's called Elisa.
Hello everybody, this is Casper Croes, the developer of Elisa game, and we're gonna jump right in. So we play as Elisa. She's a military agent in a fantasy universe inspired on the 1920s.
Where am I?
She's chasing a wanted criminal and then ends up in a mansion called the Dollhouse, and she's dressed up as a doll, as you can see. So this is the demo. The demo is available right now. So the full version contains a prologue, which is a mission before we see this, which explains more of the story, the backstory of the character. So the demo is a little bit vague, but it gives you a good sense of what the game will be like.
Excuse me.
As you can see, it's quite inspired on Resident Evil, but I also wanted to introduce some different mechanics, like every time you kill an enemy, like these dolls, they leave pieces like tooth wheels behind, and you can pick them up. You can exchange them for weapons and other things at another NPC.
Hey, you! No, don't shoot! I can help you!
Who are you? What is this place?
My name is Pope, and this is the dollhouse.
The dollhouse?
And if you go downstairs here,
What is going on here? And why am I wearing this dress?
Yes. Well, can't help you with that. But if you can bring me some tooth wheels, like this one, I might be able to exchange them for some extra firepower.
Hey, don't fool me, puppet.
Tooth wheels or nothing.
Fine.
so this character will exchange your tooth wheels for items like weapons, dresses that do different abilities, like soft skills or attributes, and bullets and healing items. This character, in the full game, this character will be more than just a merchant. This closet is where you can change your loadout. So you always walk around with a loadout. You can choose 2 weapons and your dress. And you can switch quickly between 2 weapons, like modern shooter games. And if you go downstairs here, there will be a lot of action waiting for you, but you can check it out yourself when you play the demo. So this is about it.
Okay, that is Elisa. I just wanted to throw it over here because they supplied some key art that is awesome. Wrong way. Check that out, dude. That's awesome. So, yeah, Elisa, a very kind of like Alone in the Dark, kind of mid 90s survival horror. Definitely that fixed camera angle, pre-rendered backgrounds vibe. Super cool. Yeah, it's a neat idea. There have been a couple of attempts at games like that, so it's nice to see that that's still alive and well. All right, next up we've got an RPG called Nakota. Let me go ahead and throw over to that. And we got some B-roll here to watch. We should be joined. Oh, sorry, I also forgot to mention. I apologize. Elisa couldn't be joined by one of the developers, so they supplied that B-roll with the VO over, kind of explaining it because they couldn't be here tonight. All right, but so yeah, that's why. Elisa, go look it up. It looks really cool. Super excited about it. Next up, we've got this is called Nakota. I'm joined by, let's see here, boy David. Hi David, how you doing? Oh wait, I am muted on Discord. Hi David, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, welcome. Just realized my overlay is not so hot. You can see my hand over there. I apologize about that, but You got that classic 4:3 aspect ratio. It's throwing my stuff off. So what's Nakota? I mean, from the looks of it, it looks like it's a pretty classic sort of 16-bit era RPG.
It's supposed to.
I think I lost you. Oh, you back?
It's supposed to be mostly a cutesy horror game. It's based off. I want to say it's more Dead Space inspired. I'm not the one that originally came up with the concept, so I wouldn't know how to properly explain it.
Okay. Are you familiar with the concept at least? At a glance, it didn't look super horror inspired, but
it will get very twisted and dark later on. Most of this is mainly concept.
Okay. Yeah, that does seem to be... Would you say that sort of falls into a certain... There does seem to be a certain sort of archetype of game, and a lot of visual novels seem to start that way, that it opens up all bright and cheery, and then it takes a pretty hard swerve. I think a lot of people might be familiar with like Doki Doki Literature Club or something like that. Is that sort of the concept here?
Yep, our project head, Alyssa, unfortunately she couldn't make it here tonight, but when she was explaining the game concepts to me, she did say she took some inspiration from Doki Doki.
Okay. I mean, David, forgive me for asking, but what is your role on Nakota?
My role is I'm a coder for it.
You do color?
No, I do the code.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you program. All right. So in that case, what set or what tools is this game built with?
This game is built with the RPG Maker engine, which unfortunately limits a lot of what I can do with the game so far.
Sure. Yeah.
We've been actively trying to find ways to work around these limitations. This entire game is actually choice-based.
So, like you hit certain story beats, and that will radically alter the way you play through the game?
It will alter the way you play, it will alter party characters and determine who lives and dies.
Oh, dang, okay. Yeah, you weren't kidding when you said it gets dark, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I've seen some of the concept art for a few of the death scenes, and it does get very dark and very gruesome extremely quickly.
Gosh. So the idea is to basically just kind of like surprise people with shocking amounts of intensity later on. I guess those...
Yep.
Yeah, we're seeing some enemies now in the B-roll, and they look pretty messed up. I gotta admit, I just kind of spot scrubbed through the B-roll to get a sense of the game, and I just saw a lot of cutesy anime girls with cat ears, and I was like, oh, okay. Must be a cute game, but I think I may have judged it a little too quickly.
Yep. The entire point of the enemies on screen is there are no random encounters. All of these encounters are scripted.
Yeah. Trying to deal away with one of the more common annoyances with classic RPGs, just the random world encounters.
That was a real hard one to turn off. I had to figure out a way to essentially disable the entire random encounter system entirely on RPG Maker, and that took a good 2 months to do.
Oh my gosh. It's in there that deep, huh?
It was hard.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, you got it. Are there any other systems that you're proud of about either ripping out of RPG Maker or adding in?
We are actually we are trying to remove an issue where we can't quite put in video files, since Alyssa wanted to add a little credits video at the end with all of us and some in-game sprites representing each member of the team. So I'm currently looking into that.
Okay. Are you familiar enough with the story to at least provide kind of a basic idea of what the game is about?
Most of the game does take place in space. The premise is you are a scientist on board a spaceship for a group of aliens, and they had made a pact with the American forces where, so long as they provide technology to them, America will in turn provide protection for the entire colony of Space Negos. And if you couldn't tell, a lot of the characters are female, and from what I remember conversing with Alyssa about, the female Nekos are the superior gender in Planet Nekoma.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, we knew that would be the case, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be any self-respecting anime game if it weren't 85% female.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I guess then, would you recommend this to fans of maybe some darker stories, and then also maybe classic RPGs and things like that?
I would definitely recommend it to those who enjoyed Doki Doki and a lot of the classic RPGs. I would definitely recommend it to those who have played Corpse Party and have fallen in love with that series.
Okay. Where can people go to find more about the game?
I will be posting a link in the Twitch chat to our Patreon, and in that Patreon there should be a post with our Discord link. And there you can keep track of updates for Necrodon and any of our other small projects that we're working on.
Cool. Do you have any kind of slated release for this, or is it still just work is ongoing?
Work is ongoing, but we're all hoping we can at least push out a version 1.0 by the end of this year. At the very least, a demo of the full game.
Okay, yeah, it'd be cool to get a sense for it. It certainly intrigued me. I played more than a couple of games where, yeah, it takes a pretty hard swerve on you and just dumps a lot of very, very real, very scary things. So that's always a fun and exciting time. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're especially proud of about Nakoda that you want to make sure people know about?
So in Nakoda, a lot of the code is actually based around RoScript, and one of my proudest moments is I'm implementing an ammo system into the game. So you will have limited ammunition, and there's also a crafting system where you can use different components found around the ship to create items like med kits and some makeshift weapons, and that's actually going to be a huge part in the game and survival.
Okay, so you're trying to go a little deeper into the mechanics than just walk around, get in a fight, hit fight until you win, and then level up and keep going.
Yeah. We're also looking at making it so the game will be playable without having to fight at all.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just getting the stats to properly measure up has been kind of a weird process.
So to do that, you would just kind of weave your way through the monsters in the world, and then I guess have to figure out some smooth way to get through boss encounters without, or to avoid boss encounters through story decisions. Is that the idea?
I don't know if boss encounters will always occur or if it's going to be based on story decisions yet.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's the latter. It
Yeah.
would make it a lot easier on development of the game as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. Well, okay, cool. It sounds like a neat concept then. Very story-based, kind of very gritty, very scary game with cat girls in space. Not a combination I thought I'd be talking about today, but here we are.
Yeah, it was kind of a surprise to me as well. I wasn't expecting someone to come up to me with a concept like this.
Have you been enjoying it so far? I assume so if you're still
I-
working on it.
I have been enjoying developing this game a lot. I have a really good team, and as much as I say that they're not actively developing it, they really are, and they've been doing a phenomenal job with it.
Well,
I've had little to no issues at all with development.
Awesome. That's seems like it's pretty rare. Well, David, thank you for stopping by and talking about Nakoda with us. Like you said, if people want to know more about the game, they can join the Discord. Is that the main way, or is there anything else?
Discord will be the main way. We used to have a sign up, but currently it is down due to me being unable to pay to keep it up.
Yeah, that's being an indie dev is fun, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, best of luck. Games like this always have the the potential to sort of really break out and try some cool new ideas. So from what you said, it sounds like there's some interesting stuff in there.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thanks for stopping by again, David. Hope you have a great night and best of luck
You too.
with developing Dakota.
All right. Have a
See
good
you
night.
later. Yeah, bye. Okay, interesting. Scary cat girls. Okay, next up, we got another kind of wild concept. This is a... You know what? I'll just let the trailer speak for itself. This is Battle Rockets. Okay, that's it. That's it, guys. Your first official OS X battling game for the PlayStation Vita. Yeah, this is again, phrases I didn't expect to say today, but there we are. So now you can play as the personification of your favorite game console on the Vita. Again, gotta keep appending everything on it on the Vita. Always the Vita. So the Vita is still alive, and I guess these are dimensions of shades of hyperdimension Neptunia or something like that. Your favorite images, your favorite OS TANs from your image boards have been given life in Battle Rockets, and now you can have them fight to see which one is truly the best. We don't have anyone here from Gumbo Machine to talk about Battle Rockets, unfortunately, but the artwork kind of speaks for itself. It's such an awesome concept. Or sorry, not OS TAN. Damn it, console TAN. Excuse me, got my TANs mixed up. I haven't typed it correctly down there. So, big apologies. Don't want to throw any jabs at a game trying to find love on the Vita. So, yep, yes, Steve Wayne in chat. You know the score. All right. Coming up, another game that I did not think we'd be talking about today. This is a game that licensed Tribbles from Star Trek. It's Tribble Troubles. Please enjoy.
Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship. Is that a Tribble? On my ship! Tribble Troubles. Boldly go where no Tribble has gone before. Play as a Tribble that's been beamed into the core of a hostile planet. You'll have to jump, climb, and squish your way to safety. Face off against dangerous goners, speedy sandworms, relentless alien apes, and phaser-toting crew members. Battle your way through 16 challenging levels across 4 different environments. Collect gems to score power-ups like shields and sonic attacks. Complete missions and unlock new outfits to personalize your Tribble. Tribble Troubles, beaming down in July for Xbox, Steam, and mobile.
Yes, the dream is real. A game where finally you can play as a Tribble from Star Trek. It's happening. And most importantly, you can put little hats on them. You can be a little guy and you can put little hats on them. Isn't that adorable? So yeah, this is Tribble Troubles. Looks like a pretty good, fun little platforming game. Got plenty of B-roll to show you guys. We do have someone here from Scary Robot, the developers. Dustin is on the line, but not responding at the moment, so maybe I caught him in the restroom or something like that. Quick, where's the pre-order link? Yeah, everyone seems pretty hot on it. Looks like it's coming out pretty soon, too. I'm just fascinated that the... oh, yeah, sorry, Dustin. Oh, yeah, doesn't look like your mic is transmitting over Discord. Ain't that the way? Apologies. Well, hopefully that'll get figured out. What's weird is I know we did mic tests. Huh. But yes, it's very cute. Yeah, sorry, Dustin. The good news is everyone seems to really love the game. So there's that. I mean, it looks really, really cute. We've been waiting to play as a warbly little furball for a very long time. It's strange to me that, like, as much as they've done, like, specials and stuff and kind of thrown back to that, it's weird that they we haven't seen them in video games yet. And I'm pretty sure I saw Dustin typing. Oh wait a minute. No, sorry, I thought I had a tech issue. Thought I saw him typing that this is the first game featuring Tribbles, so that's really exciting. Oh no, I see Dustin popping in and out of the room, trying to sort out some mic stuff. Oh, you got it! That usually works, doesn't it? Is that what you did? Beautiful. You got the engineering mastery of one Geordie LaForge. Which, wait, maybe that's not within the license that you acquired. So it's fascinating because like I saw your message in the channel that you actually got the proper license for Tribbles, but is that separate from Star Trek as a whole? Oh no, I'm sorry.
Come from the classic.
As much as I heard you for a second, I accidentally had you turned off for the stream, so I apologize. just pretend I just asked that question again, and I'm so sorry, guys.
Third time is a charm.
Yeah.
So the license is specifically to the Tribbles as well as the Glommers, the orange guys you see there. So the Glommers come out of the more obscure animated Star Trek series. There's 2 episodes specifically. You have the Trouble with Tribbles, which everyone knows and loves. But there's also the animated one, which is More Tribbles, More Troubles. And so I have access to the Tribbles as well as the Glommers. But that's pretty much it. And as well as the Quadritigicale, which is the grain that they always like to eat, right? The cans. But the license is like so specific that I was not even allowed to use the original sound effect of the purr and the screeches. So I had to reverse engineer those myself and find what animals they actually originally used and sort of like replicate that. So it is a very specific license. Unfortunately, that's as far as I go. There's no Bones, Kirk, Spock, or anything, unfortunately, that I can add to that. So I had to sort of stretch beyond that in terms of other characters and villains and that kind of stuff. Kind of pulling heavily more from the animated Star Trek series, kind of having that kind of stylized look.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I gotta admit, I didn't expect to see a Tribble game, and much less one that is more stylized after the animated series of Star Trek. Jeez. Yeah, you mentioned that you had to combine a lot of sounds from different animals and things like that. What did you end up what did you end up using as a base for the Tribble sound effect?
Well, thank God for Google. It was just a simple search, and so the purr is a cooing dove, but modified with a little modulation, right? So that adds that warble to it. And the screech was actually just a modified screech owl. So those are 2 things. Just kind of once again, brought into SoundForge, did some little warbling effects to it, and next thing I knew is I had that playing. And I've demoed the game at a couple of conventions, and people that play the game, especially Star Trek fans, have not even realized that this is not the original sound effect. I explained after the fact, they're kind of going, wait, that's not? Oh, okay. So I got that one nailed at least.
Cool. And as far as the game itself, it looks like it's a platformer where you play as a Tribble, and I guess you just have to work your way through these alien planets to a goal. What is sort of the context of the game? I guess you're picking up food?
So the context is basically the Tribble, kind of like a classic Tribble, gets caught on a spaceship eating their grain, right, like a Tribble does. And the captain, in a fit of rage, beams them into the core of a nearby planet whose molten core is actually rising up. So you start in the inside of this planet, and you're trying to climb your way up to safety. And if you reach to the top of this underground cavern, you go into a canyon where you face other creatures, right? At that point, you have a sandworm. Beyond that, you go into a jungle where you have these alien ape guys. And then beyond that, if you get to the top, you get inadvertently beamed back onto the ship that you got kicked off on in the first place with a crew that's trying to scratch his head, kind of going, that can't be the same Tribble. That's a different Tribble. Wait, that's not the same Tribble. How could a Tribble get out of the center of a planet back onto our ship? So there's, and then there'll be cutscenes to kind of bring the storyline to that. And then you find yourself on the ship trying to not get shot up by the crew members that are not happy to see you.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that in the trailer. Okay.
Just a hint.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense that as a Tribble you would be near unkillable throughout the course of the game. It looks like the mechanics is you can double jump, you can wall stick. Are there any other like platforming mechanics to speak of?
No, those are the key things. You can kind of repel as well. You can let go and re-grab the wall. So it's great. So if you're too high, you can let go and just immediately, you don't have to jump away and jump back. You can just drop and re-grab. So just kind of introduce a play mechanic that I personally wanted to play myself. But it just, the game itself was sort of like driven by what the IP holders were really specifically requesting. So that's why it has kind of a smaller scale. And after going back and forth and explaining to them what the potentials were for gameplay, I showed them as examples things like Super Meat Boy, Spelunky, and Downwell. And those are the things I explained, as a vertical climber kind of format would, I think, work best for what they wanted. And they agreed to it. But what I've done, too, is I also want to make sure that the game is playable by, everyone, right? Not just the hardcore gamers, like the Super Meat Boy types, but I also want something that is going to be accessible to Star Trek fans, right? So I'll actually have 3 different gameplay modes. I'll have a more casual mode that will be a lot more forgiving, right? Like all the lava flows you see here will not be there, right? It'll be a much more simplified, much more beatable. Health would be easier to replenish and power-ups and things of that nature. And then in the arcade mode, then it gets tougher, right? The food, which if the cans of food that you see with the QTC on it, if you collect enough of those, you regain health, but in the higher levels, it's going to be fewer of them, right? So it's a bigger challenge. And then I'll also have a specific speedrun mode. And the difference here is the fact that in the casual and arcade mode, these levels are built in a modular fashion, right? So what you're seeing in this level that's playing right here is comprised of 8 sections. And because they're modular, they'll basically randomize every time. So it won't be the same layout every time. It'll kind of mix it up and keep it fresh for you. The speedrun version will be locked in specifically. So hopefully the idea there is that everyone is going to be playing on a level playing field, right? So the challenge will be consistent. You don't have somebody that gets like a lucky run with a lucky layout. So that way, hopefully, everyone can really kind of work their best way to find out what's the best pattern to try and beat the game faster than anyone else.
Cool. Somebody in chat, Kyosho asked, can you have Tribble babies? That's like the operative thing Tribbles do, right?
Right. And of course, that's I have been asked that question so many times.
Yeah.
And my explanation is so this is sort of my litmus test for how much of a Star Trek fan they truly are. Because in the animated Star Trek episode, More Tribbles, More Troubles, where they introduced the Glommers, as I pointed out before, the orange guys, they also introduced the fact that these Tribbles are altered now. These are sort of like Tribbles 2.0. They're no longer born pregnant. They still love to eat everything, right? But technically, they actually just kind of expand in size and don't make tons of babies. And the primary reason was the fact that I could not figure a way to work the play mechanic into the game and not have it break like crazy.
Sure.
So I sort of went with that motif and just let you focus on your one character.
You were able to dive enough into the lore to find a parachute for that particular game mechanic.
A rationalization. That's my. I thought you said you're a Star Trek fan. How would you not know that? Come on,
Yeah.
So yeah, that is my safety net for sure.
Well played. All right. Well, if people want to hop around as an adorable Tribble, where and how can they do that?
So we're going to be coming out on Steam, Xbox, as well as mobile. Right now at Steam, it is available for wishlist. So if they'd like to find it there, I would love if you guys would please go out and wishlist it. Like Jispo spoke about earlier, the more wishlisting it gets, the more exposure it gets, and that's what I'm trying to do right now is just push the game out there and let it be visible for everyone. Xbox as well, I have their blessing, so I'll be developing that version. I have a release date set for July 10th, and that is definitely going to be for mobile as well as Steam. Xbox will be dependent upon how fast I can get through all the hoops required for that.
Yeah, certification and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, Dustin, is there anything else you want to make sure people know about Tribble Troubles?
Just come to my website, scaryrobot.com, or they can go directly to the Tribble site, which is TribbleTroubles.com, and they can find more information there. You can also find my Discord, so please come over and join the Discord. I actually do live stream of the game development 3 times a week for a couple hours a day, so check that out. And finally, I'd also like to just say a big thanks to Nightdive for setting this up and letting us talk about this stuff. A big thanks to Steven, Larry, and Carly for just letting us have this opportunity. And for you, man, for hosting this. I mean, this has been a record run for you, I'm sure. But as indie developers, this is absolutely fantastic opportunity. I just really thank you guys for making this happen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for making the games. Like that's what drives all of this. I just get to sit back and play and talk about them. So I technically have the easiest job out of all of us. So, but thank you so much, Dustin. I appreciate you stopping by, sharing your time, and certainly for making this cool looking game. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too. Take care.
Bye. Okay, guys, we got one more to wrap up the show. One more game. We've got a trailer for you. Then we're going to talk with the devs as usual, and then we'll have to say our heartfelt goodbyes. But more video games first. We got a trailer for you here for Garden Story. Okay, I am here with Jenny from Rose City Games, talking about Garden Story. First of all, congratulations. The game looks super, super cute, really adorable.
Thank you. Yeah, Picogram is the developer for Garden Story, and they are doing a fantastic job. Like, you just can't help but smile when you look at it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get the developer wrong? I thought it was...
So Picogram is the developer for Garden Story, and then Rose City Games, I'm the community developer of Rose City Games. We are helping co-publish the title.
Ah, I understand. Okay, cool. So what's the idea behind Garden Story? I guess to look at it, seems a little Zelda-y maybe, but with playing as adorable little plants, is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, shout out to the Turnip Boy folks, because it's nice to see other wholesome vegetable and fruit games out there.
Yeah. Bizarrely similar, huh?
New genre. So Garden Story is about a grape named Concord, and they are the new guardian of their home, which is called the Grove. And so their purpose and their goal is to try and protect their community from a rot that is invading, as well as help restore their home, because it's been damaged. Folks are separated and disconnected, and so it's up to you to help initiate a lot of that reconnection.
Interesting. Okay, and I guess that takes the form of like open world exploration with some light combat.
Yeah, there's a lot of exploration. I really love this game because each area of the Grove represents a different season, and so you'll go through spring, summer, fall, and winter, and within those areas there are different characters and neighbors that you'll meet and get to know. And while there is light combat, there's also an emphasis on helping the folks that you get to know through doing favors and answering requests, to again just like help everyone out a little bit.
So utterly wholesome. You're just a
Absolutely wholesome.
a little plant, a little guy out there just trying to make the world a better place. A little grape trying his best.
Yeah, they are so cute. I feel like this game is just part of a whole sort of movement of games that are about, there's still combat, there's light combat that you'll encounter. I think there's a screenshot that cycles through that shows like a boss battle that you'll encounter when you're going through the sewers. But there is a balance between having this light combat, but also the good deeds that you do reinforce the progress in the game. So you're not just progressing by attacking things and defeating things, but you're progressing through like helping out, which is really nice.
What are some of the like tasks that you help people with? Is this like the typical, like maybe some of the typical RPG stuff of there's rats in my basement, go beat them up? Or can you give some examples of maybe the tone of the world and the kind of tasks that people send you on?
Yeah, so you'll have to collect resources. A lot of folks are trying to like rebuild their shops or restore areas that they used to go and visit, and so you'll collect things like pebbles and twigs. The scale is much smaller when you're a grape, so you're probably not getting huge boards of wood or anything like that. And so you'll collect resources by exploring the island, using a ton of different tools. You have like a pick that you can use to both attack the rot as well as sort of smack stones and tree stumps to get the resources from them. But you can also help the fellow villagers by, like you said, sort of those typical quests, like there are rot that have invaded the forest and we need you to get rid of them so we can traverse the island safely.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Where can people go to see more of this game?
So right now the game actually has a demo available on Steam through March 23rd. There's the Steam Games Festival, and so we were lucky enough to be included as a part of that. So if folks want to try the game out this weekend and through March 23rd, they can go and play the demo on Steam, which takes place in a locale of Garden Story called Autumn Town. And of course, wishlisting it on Steam is the other way you can really help support and keep in touch with us about the game's progress.
Great. All right. Before we wrap up, is there anything that you're especially excited about with this game or that you're exceptionally pleased with? That from the sounds of it, just the wholesome nature of all the tasks you do, it's a game that's not just about going out and smacking everything to death. It's kind of interesting. I didn't know if there was anything else that you wanted to call out that might distinguish this game in people's minds.
Yeah, well, I think it's really interesting how the theme of this game is about fighting just like the poor circumstances and separation of the community. It's got a really nice message that I think, especially nowadays, is probably really it just feels really good to play about how people are stronger together and like at the end of the day, like rebuilding and gardening and even like protecting those you love by maybe combating some rot are the things that help bring folks together. And I think that's something that I personally very much enjoy in the games that I play, and so that makes me really excited when I see that in Garden Story.
Aw, that sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much for showing the game, Jenny. Appreciate it. And like you said, okay, so it's demos available on Steam right now, and you can also wishlist it. Is there like a website or Discord or community you'd like to point anyone towards?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a Discord. It's discord.gg/RoseCityGames, and that actually houses all of the games that we are working on as a studio, as well as Garden Story. And if folks want to follow Garden Story and its updates directly, we post on Twitter frequently, as many game indie devs do, and that's just at Garden Story Game.
Great. All right, Jenny. Well, thank you so much. Garden Story looks amazing. I'm probably gonna grab the demo right now. I mean, gosh,
yeah,
it's been such a weekend for games, but this one looks pretty special, so I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And for folks who don't know, if you download the demo, you don't have to play it immediately. You can download it, save it for maybe if you're done with your first bit of Animal Crossing marathoning.
To do everything you can do in a given day. It's like, okay.
Exactly. And so you don't have to play it right now, but you do have to just make sure to try and download it.
Great. All right, Jenny, thanks so much. Is there anything else you want to make sure people know about Garden Story before we wrap up here?
I think just wishlisting, it really helps. I think we've heard all of the titles talk about wishlisting, and it really does make a difference. So if folks are interested in this game or any of the others that they see, please do that because it really helps.
Great. Thank you so much, Jenny. Have a great night.
Yeah. Thank you. You too.
And that's the last game we got for you guys. So I guess I'll just click back over here. I want to extend my thanks to all of you for watching. The indie dev scene is it's always string and prayers that hold games together, and certainly with Corona out there, kind of giving people some hits when they weren't expecting it. It's great to kind of come together and everyone sort of do what they can to try and lift everyone up. So thank you guys for sharing your time and your efforts. We saw a lot of cool games today. Thanks to Nightdive for putting all this on and hosting this, putting all this together. As hard as it is to make games, it's also very hard to talk to a lot of game makers and get them to all agree to a time and share assets and all this stuff. So, oh yeah, I was trying to shut you out a little bit there. Hey, Carly.
And I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, and yeah, like I was doing, Carly, shout outs to you for communicating with all the developers and wrangling all the assets and everything like that, because it made it a whole heck of a lot easier to just have nice little Google Drive folders with everything in them. So
well, thanks to all the devs that agreed to join me because this was so much fun, and hopefully we can do it again next year.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, why not? You're probably not looking forward to that now. You probably want to go to sleep. But
yeah, now I want a nap, but
yeah.
I'll rest up till next year and we'll do it again.
Right on. All right. Naps all around. All right. Thank you guys again for watching. Appreciate it. Shout outs to Nightdive, 3D Realms, Limited Run, New Bloods, and gosh, I might as well just rattle through all the developers. We had Poppyworks, Pharaoh, Hound, D-Cell, Lone Wulf, Yukon, Spooky Buns, Casper Croes, Foxtail, Gumbo Machine, Scary Robot, and Rose City Games. You guys are all out there doing the real work. I just get to sit back and play video games. So thank you for making the fuel that keeps me going. All right, that'll do it for me and for us. Thanks again, and have a great night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.